Peter. It's a gray day here in Hamilton as Mike Pinball Clemens battens down the hatch and gets ready for battle. He has got this team on a tremendous roll, 5-3 since Labor Day when they came in here at 2-6, and it looked like their football season was dead. Ronnie Lancaster saying today he will start all of his starters, intent on playing the spoiler to try to knock the Argonauts out of playoff contention this afternoon. There is no love lost between these two teams in this heated Southern Ontario rivalry. Paul Baldiston, he'll be here. He'll be kicking. The calf is good. Noel Prefontaine trying to tee it up, and will have a strong wind out of the west gusting behind him. The Argos winning the toss, Chris, and deferring. And so the Tiger Cats will take the ball as Troy Davis limbers it up at his own 8-yard line. He's got Jeff Johnson on his flank. And the kick will go to Davis at his own 7. Troy Davis with lots of space to get up some speed and hit hard. Oh my goodness, Kevin Even put the clothesline on Troy Davis as they open with a big lick.
And that's how you want to start. We talked about the atmosphere. It's electric. It is playoff. It is just the way you got to have it right now. So you see Danny McManus entering the field. Toronto knows it's do or die.
There's the backfield, the two-back system they've had going infrequently this year, Chris.
And of course, Grant Morielli, Flutie and Grigg at the wide receiver for this crew. And a big offensive line. Happy to have Carl Coulter back at center.
The captain back at center. Hitch pass to Darren Flutie looking for a block. But there's Rio Wells and a host of Argos all over him to limit the game to 1, maybe 2, and sparks are flying early.
Well, there's no love lost between these two guys. And obviously when they get up there, Rio Wells just comes up there, makes the play. Good defensive front. Blue, Rogers, Kinney. Always dangerous. Alfred Payton at the defensive end. Michael O'Shea, Calvin the Terminator Tegel, and Chris Neal at the linebacker. And a much improved secondary, Steinhauer, Wells, and Simmons. Shaw and Smith at the cornerback positions.
The top ball hawk defense against the stingiest intercepting offense in the league right now. Hamilton with only 9. Here's McManus throwing. He lost the ball. But it'll be ruled as an incomplete pass as the pocket collapsed around Danny Mack.
Well, nice job of getting pressure on him, and that's one of the things you want to do. If you can't hit Danny McManus, you want him to hold on to the ball. A little hesitation. You can see they force him, and the ball just gets knocked out of his hand at the last second.
Watch Mike O'Shea just misses him here.
You see Alfred Payton just coming right in there, and actually that's what happened. It wasn't knocked out, but as you say, Mark, as he was bringing the arm back to deliver the football, actually hit the back of the football on Mike O'Shea.
Paul Baldiston with a 43.5-yard average, playing in his 251st consecutive game to move past Roger Aldag into 4th place in CFL record book standards. Ozzie gets a low punt into the wind. Chuck Levy grabs it on the run at center field. And so into the wind, Baldiston's punt is pushed down. It's a 26-yarder and an 8-yard return. There's the look of the consecutive game streakers. Ozzie moving ahead of Roger Aldag, and just behind by 1, Leo Groenwagen. And look at that. He'll creep right up on the rest.
I'll tell you what, if you look at that seriously, and I mean, you know what I feel about kickers.
I know.
They play about 10 plays a game. So if I break that down, they've probably played 62 football games.
Kerwin Bell has struggled the last couple of weeks. He's had trouble publicly admonishing his receivers. He'll go on the ground to Michael Jenkins on the first call from scrimmage. And Jenkins plows through Joe Montford for a decent first down game.
Well, they definitely want to give Jenkins the rushing title. I mean, Kerwin Bell, Darren Joseph, the fullback, Michael Jenkins, the running back. The receiving crew obviously excited to have Mitchell back. Alford, Williams, Andre Kerwin, the wide receiver spot. And a big offensive line. Earl Scott and Anziata St. John, Morgan, and Juan Roque at the right tackle.
Michael Jenkins hoping to win the rushing title this year, to break the 4-year stranglehold that Mike Pringle had. Back to pass. Bell clearing it out, but it's nowhere near Ted Alford as it falls to the turf, incomplete. And it will be a punting situation for the Argos.
Well, good pressure by the front 4 of the Hamilton Tiger Cats just to force him to throw it off. Doesn't get everything he wants on this football. You see right there, we're talking about Fitzpatrick, 98. Gets up there, gets his hand in the way. Nice job of knocking that ball down. As you say, if it wasn't, the ball could have been completed to Alford, and they may be moving the chains.
Chris, the Argos will attempt a field goal with this strong tailwind as Gincola comes out onto the field, and they'll place the ball at the 48. Kemp to hold. Gincola has been hot and cold. Big tailwind. Ball down, kicked. And it hits the upright. No good. Inches away from 3 points. And Gincola cannot take advantage of the tailwind on the first offensive series for the Argos. Orlando Steinauer, the former Tiger Cat, knows how tough it is to play a game here at Ivor Wynn. Even tougher knowing that they need one to get into the playoffs in the crossover.
Well, absolutely, and he's fired up.
Obviously, it means everything to us. We, you know, the saying goes, there's no tomorrow. So regardless of all the other games and all the implications about BC and Calgary this and Edmonton that, we got to handle our own business.
Steinauer has been a leader with 5 interceptions in the month of October. On the ground, Troy Davis is hit immediately by Calvin Tiggle and stopped in his tracks as the Ticats try to rekindle and keep that ground game going.
Well, I think it's interesting. You just heard what Steinauer had to say, and he had a quote in the paper talking about Calvin Tiggle, and he says, this guy is 100%. He plays as a warrior. Everybody plays better when Calvin Tiggle's on the football field. And boy, look at him getting in there and submarine, taking out the legs of Troy Davis in that play.
Tiggle vocal at that linebacker position, whipping up the Argos. There's movement on the line of scrimmage, and flags fly as the Argos were showing blitz on that 2nd and long situation for the Tiger Cats.
Well, you know they love to come after, Danny.
Offside. Toronto number 18. Repeat, 2nd down.
So Chris Neal is called for offside.
Well, that's the thing. You know, he's just going to come out the top of the screen. He's just going to jump right there, anticipating the count. But Danny's such a veteran. He's going to change the snap count. He's not always going to go on the same cadence. Really try and pull him offside a lot of times.
Chris showing blitz from Neal and Chuck Levy on the other side. With the penalty, it's 2nd down and 2 to go. Tiger Cats. McManus in the shotgun. He'll throw it complete to Morreale, and he'll have the Hamilton 1st down.
Well, I really think you've got to get this guy involved more in your offense. Mike Morreale, only 1 catch last week. They always go and they always look at Grigg, they look at Flutie, but this is a guy that has the capabilities of making big plays for you. Just comes across, gets to the outside, being covered by linebacker Chris Neal, gets a step on him. Nice throw by Danny Mack, and moving the chains.
Morreale struggling this year. Clutch inside catcher with 456 yards coming in. He hasn't been that low since 1997, but a big one there and a 1st down for Hamilton. McManus to pass again, throwing to the sideline. It's complete. No, they're going to wave it off as Andrew Grigg thought he kept his feet in bounds, but it's waved off. The kid who moved over 1,000 yards for the first time in his career last week in Montreal.
Well, right on. I mean, just does a little quick corner out, sits there, just as he gets the ball, he tries to drag the feet, keeping both of them in bounds. As we take a look at this, as you see.
Oh, Chris, that's a bad call. That is a bad call.
The referee's right there, so either he needs contacts
or he needs our replays. 2nd down and 10. McManus to pass again. Intended for Grant. It's behind him, and Wayne Shaw got one hand on it. Incomplete.
Well, I tell you, one of the things that's happening so far, Mark, that's unfolding, is Danny McManus is trying to, you know, use some of the other receivers in his offense that he hasn't used. Corey Grant had no catches last week. Mike Morreale had the catch previous, only 1 last week. This is what you got to do. You want to have a balanced attack. Yes, you want to run the football, but you want to utilize all your weapons at the receiver position.
Tyrone Brown, the lone Argo, to return this offering from Paulus Balderson as he stands at his 25-yard line. Again, a tough-looking punt from Ozzie. It's short. Chuck Levy has it. Flags are down, and it looks like it'll be no yards against Chris Schelling of the Tiger Cats. So Paulus Balderson playing with an injured calf on his non-kicking leg, struggling in the early going in Hamilton. Welcome back to Ivor Wynn Stadium in Hamilton. Hamilton scoreless. The Argos and Ticats here early in the first quarter, but the Argos have decent field position. They'll start this series just across the Hamilton 50 after the Balderson punt traveled 26 yards, and they tacked down no yards against Chris Shelley.
Well, 2 offensive possessions, both starting inside Hamilton territory.
Bell coming up behind the center. He'll hand off to Michael Jenkins. Up the gut. Look at him move the pile. And with that rush, Michael Jenkins moves into the CFL rushing lead ahead of Kelvin Anderson of the Calgary Stampeders.
Well, I think that was a pretty safe bet, Mark, in the fact that he only was 7 yards behind entering the game, but you knew it was going to happen. And as you see, there he is right there, moving ahead of Kelvin Anderson. Mike Pringle, who has yet to play.
Pringle was 149 yards back of the leaders starting this weekend. The 4 consecutive season leader in rushing. 2nd down and 3. They'll go on the ground to Jenkins, and the Cats smell that. John Woodson and Mike Philbrook drive him back into the Argo backfield.
Well, a nice job of just filling the hole, getting in there. Sean Woodson coming from that outside linebacking position, just going to fill the hole, but it only works if the defensive lineman in front of you get penetration. And as you say, Mike Philbrook gets the penetration and allows Woodson to come in there and finish him off. It's exactly like you draw him. He's right in the center of your screen. Earl Scott, 58, the center, fails to pick him up, forcing Toronto to punt.
Prefontaine with a low spiral angle to the sidelines, and it will bounce into the end zone and out for a single point. Prefontaine looking to angle into the coffin corner, but he gets a bad bounce and a single point. And that's Michael Jenkins. Chris, excuse me, I just wanted to tell you that this young man, Mike Kinball Clemens says, will be the next superstar in Toronto sports. But I'll tell you, he is a very humble and selfie-facing athlete.
I think that's credit to the offensive line. You know, I think for those guys, those kind of awards mean far more to them, because it's a pride thing with them. Those guys out there, they love to do what they do, and they're out there working hard every time. And you know, I really want success for those guys because it's a direct reflection of their effort.
Troy Davis, Michael Jenkins' counterpart in the Ticat backfield, rumbling to the 1st down marker at the 45 outside the tackle.
Well, nice job of just getting to the outside. That's one of the things. I mean, he's got good foot speed. I mean, it tended to go inside the tackle. It's plugged up. He uses his own athletic ability to bounce it to the outside and pick up a 1st down.
Troy Davis, the only player in NCAA history to have 2 2,000-yard rushing seasons, and he did that at Iowa State. An extra lineman in for the Cats. They'll go to the shotgun, showing run. They'll pass. Corey Grant got it at the 45, and he is gone. Touchdown, Tiger Cats. Danny Mack with his 19th touchdown pass of the season, the 3rd to Corey Grant. A 65-yard bomb.
Well, I'll tell you what, they bring the big boys in to get the protection. Just working against Adrian Smith, runs a little corner route. He gets a couple steps on him. The 2nd time Danny McManus has gone to Corey Grant. The 1st time, no success. This time, big time success as he takes it all the way for a touchdown and an early 7-1 lead.
With the point after from Osbaldiston, the Ticats have talked about stretching the defense, of having a vertical threat. They've looked to this young man out of Wilfrid Laurier to do that.
Well, it all starts with the protection. I know I talk about that a lot of times, but unless you give the quarterback time to get comfortable, he does a great job. And then Corey Grant does what he does best. He's got great speed, the fastest guy on the Ticat team. He uses his speed, cuts inside, gets a step on Adrian Smith. The ball is on the money, and the nice thing about it is on the money as he's running. Doesn't have to change, stop stride. Look at the protection. Ball right there, takes it on the fly, and after that, his history. No one's going to touch it until he gets to the end zone.
Impressive, interesting deception by the Tiger Cats, bringing in the Elephant team, showing run. They had Troy Davis come across, looked like it might be a handoff, and they fooled everybody.
Well, that's what they're doing. They're going to bring in the two big guys. You call the elephants in, which are just two tight ends. That's two purposes. One, they can run the ball, as you say, with Troy Davis. The second one is extra pass protection if they want to go deep, and they did that successfully that play.
So Ozzie will tee it up, and the Cats score into the wind. 7-1 lead with 7:08 to go in the first quarter. Adrian Smith, the cornerback who was burned on that one, back to return it. It drops in front of Tyrone Brown. He has it at the 25, straight up the middle, and hammered. Dwayne Butler with a tremendous special team tackle for the Tiger Cats, a 51-yard kick and a 16-yard return for the former XFLer out of Birmingham.
Well, that's what it's all about. You talk about offense, you talk about defense, but 25 comes in and lays a shoulder right underneath the chin of Adrian Smith, taking him and stopping him in his tracks.
Butler, who has had 2 seasons in the NFL in 97 and 98 with the Minnesota Vikings, making his presence felt there as Kerwin Bell comes back to work at quarterback for the Argonauts. It'll be first down at their own 40. All of their 3 drives so far have started with tremendous field position. A 5-receiver set, play action, dump out and over the head of Daryl Mitchell. The second time early in this game we have seen Bell off the mark.
Well, he's definitely off the mark because, as you say, they're going to go with play action. Hamilton's defense bites on the play action. They got exactly what they want. They get Mitchell outside, one-on-one. Everybody's going to come. All your boys are going to come in here. Just a matter of reading the play action. Look how they go to Jenkins, and there you go. Just an overthrown pass.
Second and 10. The Argos yet to get a first down. And now Bell is audibling. He had to call back the slot backs. Now there's confusion. And it looked like Daryl Mitchell was well over the line of scrimmage before the ball was snapped. Flags are down.
Well, Kerwin Bell a little frustrated, trying to get everything smoothed out.
Here's Glenn Johnson.
Procedure, Toronto, number 68. Repeat the down.
Big Juan Roque, the right tackle, is getting ahead of the gun, and he's working against Smoking Joe Monfort. So you know that anytime you can get a jump on that big pass rusher, you got to do it. Just a little early on that one.
And he wasn't the only one, as that audible seemed to throw off the Argos. Second and 15, more movement on the scrimmage. No flag. Outlet pass to Jenkins. He's hit hard by Ivory with assistance from Rob Hitchcock, and the Ticat defense is hungry today.
Well, they just do a nice job of smelling this play out. They know exactly what's going to happen. They read the formation. Just a nice job of Clifford Ivory, recognizing that the back is sliding out of the backfield. He's just going to follow him all the way. You can see him in the top of your screen. Look at Clifford Ivory, and there's 42. Hitchcock, the strong safety coming over to finish out the job. That's just smart football, Mark.
Prefontaine to punt. Amerson, the lone cat back. On the bounce, he falls. He touched the ball. It's loose. The Argos may have it. It's still moving, and finally the Cats get their hands on a ball that was moving inside their own 20.
I do not know how Toronto did not come up with this football. I thought from up here that number 19, Rio Wells, definitely had it. But boy, I tell you what, a big break for the Ticats, and we'll sort it out when we come back.
Back on the Tiger Cat bench where defensive coordinator Don Southern is holding a tutorial with Rob Hitchcock, Chris Schelling, and Jason Lamar. Here's another look at that fumbled punt by Archie Amerson.
Well, he just slips on the ball, and the ball hits him, and of course it becomes a live ball. It looked like Rio Wells got it, but very fortunate Kyle Walters comes up for the recovery for the Ticats.
Darren Flutie, the intended receiver there, as Marcelo Simmons leaps in front to knock it down. It's incomplete. Second and 10, Tiger Cats. Darren Flutie continues to move up the ranks.
Offside, Toronto, number 89. Repeat first down.
So a break for the Tiger Cats. Darren Flutie, second in all-time CFL receiving yards and third all-time in CFL catches, coming into this game with 905 in his 11 CFL seasons. Sports Illustrated trying to get an interview with Darren. To go along with the story in San Diego and his brother Doug is Troy Davis scrambles around the right side on that 1st and 5 situation, and it looks like he'll have a Hamilton first down.
Well, you know, it's funny. You talk about Sports Illustrated. I mean, there's a guy that's definitely a lot of people want to read about. You know, I remember Sports Illustrated phoned me once, and I thought it was about that. And they just wanted to know if I wanted to renew my subscription.
Of course, Doug will tell anybody, and continues to down in the NFL, that Darren is a tremendous possession player.
You see Troy Davis's number last week against Montreal, had the big game. Obviously, 1 run, 75 yards, but definitely becoming the go-to guy in the backfield for the Ticats.
McManus to Corey Grant. It's low and incomplete on the first down try. Danny Mack moving past Russ Jackson, 10th place all-time with that touchdown pass to Corey Grant. He now has 186, one better than the former Rough Rider great. And his numbers have been tremendous this year. Look how he's improved his touchdown to interception ratio. It's always been a knock that he throws too many picks, but not this year.
And, you know, even though it was a knock, they always said we didn't care if he threw 30 interceptions because we always know he'd throw more touchdowns. But this year, as you say, he's really cut that back. Only 8 interceptions.
2nd down, 10 to go. McManus, pressure, dumps it off. Troy Davis has it, but he's held short of the first down as Mike O'Shea and Calvin Tiggle are in on the tackle.
Well, nice job of penetration by the newcomer, Glenn Scrivener. Getting a last-minute call to play for the injured Roger Dunbrack.
Yes, they found him duck hunting somewhere in North Dakota, and it was a good thing he had a cell phone on him.
I tell you what, absolutely, but I mean, here's a guy that can come in. He's got the bandana on his forehead, you know, and when he figured it was all over last year, he retired, he put all this stuff away, packed his bandana. He said, I can't play until I finally had to go dig it up, look for it through all the trunks, chest of his old stuff, his old war stuff, to bring it out so he could play today for the Argonauts.
Let's go!
The punt is away, another short one, and Adrian Smith backtracks and is caught from behind. Rob Hitchcock lassos Smith. A 32-yard punt and no gain for the Argos.
And a little preset trickery by Smith, trying to take it to the wide side of the field, hoping to draw the defenders in and then get the wall set on the opposite side. Rob Hitchcock would have none of it. He's going to take a step. He looks like he's going to go one way, trying to set it, and then go back the other way. Of course, 42 Rob Hitchcock right through the wall. You've got to block the guy at the point of attack for any return to be successful.
Hitchcock with 50 tackles for the Tiger Cats this season. Back to pass, pressure. Bell complete to Nigel Williams across center field. He puts his head down for 10 more. And a first down, Toronto.
Well, if you want to punish the defensive backs of Hamilton, and because they're always going to lay licks on you, you better put it in the big man's hands, and that's Nigel Williams. This is a guy that can get the job done. You see Chris Schelling coming around, laying a last-minute hit. Boy, close to a late hit on Kerwin Bell. Lucky not to get the flag on him.
He's looking for the flag, appealing, but he won't get it. And how about Nigel Williams, left on the scrap heap earlier this year by Edmonton. His career rekindled here in Toronto. Bell handing off to Jenkins. There's nowhere to go. Tiger Cats are taking him out of the game.
Oh, absolutely. He's trying to come out the middle. These are plays that, you know, he's had success against other defenses. But we've got to remember, when you're going against a Don Southern defensive coach team, they study so much film. Look at Monfort staying up there. He's playing it. Now, he swims the guy, but he stays there in case something goes to the outside of him. He's not going to commit and fire inside. That's just well-disciplined defense. As you see the defensive coordinator, Don Southern, right there. Got to be happy with the way they're doing things right now.
Oh, has he come up with a game plan today on defense? Here's Bell to pass. Down the middle. It's behind Ted Alford. He tries to one-hand it in front of Diedrich Mathis. It's incomplete.
Just going to work a little corner route. Get Ted Alford from the outside coming in for the goal post. Just going to angle it inside. He's going to give him a little shake and bake, take it to the inside against Diedrich Mathis. Reaches back, tries to make the one-handed spectacular catch. Diedrich Mathis, no, he is there. Gets his hand in there, enough to distract the catch.
Another field goal attempt for the Argos. This one from 52. Giancola missed his first from 48. It hit the upright. His longest this season, 54. Lots of leg, but it's just short. Grant will concede a single as Gincola opens with 2 missed field goals. The Argonauts desperate to win, Chris, as we mentioned off the top of this program, because they can cross over and take the 3rd and final playoff spot in the West. But look at this rule. Since it's been in effect from 1974, the West would have come to the East 12 times. Now, 74 is the year we use it because that's when both divisions played the same number of games. The East to the West, 0 times. So this rule was really brought in to appease the powerful Western Division teams, and now they're griping because the Argos might come back.
Well, the Western Division, nobody wants to claim that first place, title.
But Troy Davis outside the tackle, and it's Calvin Tiggle with a shoestring tackle.
Nice job by the Terminator. Calvin Tiggle again coming in there, getting stronger as the season goes on. I mean, one of the things about your middle linebacker, he is only as effective as the 2 guys in front of him. And that would be these 2 guys. And if they're not doing the job, you know what? Your middle linebacker just is not going to get there, because their job is to take the tackle and get one of the offensive linemen on the middle linebacker. You occupy 2 guys, he's free to roam, he's free to scrape to the play. He does on that one.
Gain is only 1. It's 2nd and 9. McManus in the backfield, 5 receivers. Good pass to Corey Grant, but Chuck Levy was breaking right over him to limit the game to maybe 4 yards.
Now, one of the things they're doing, Mark, is they're trying to get Corey Grant the football a lot of times. They want to use his speed on this football field. But I think if you're Corey Grant, you cannot slow banana this play into the middle of the football field. You've got to cut it sharp so you get separation from the defender.
All right, let's go down to the sidelines, and here's Peter Rutgazer.
Just talking to Ticat Dr. David Levy, he says the Paulus Balls' calf injury is okay. He thinks it's really mental at this point, and he also thinks that he's trying to pace himself because they do have the 3 games in 9 days.
Ozzy's longest punt so far today, 30 yards. Another shank. Gets a good bounce as it goes by Tyrone Brown inside the 15-yard line. He just jumps on it, and the Argos lose tremendous field position on that one.
I've got to jump all over that statement. Can you believe that he actually said that? That they said that the kicker, Paul Osbaldiston, has got to pace himself? A kicker's got to pace himself? He plays 10 plays a game, for God's sakes. No such thing as pacing.
We're back to Ivor Wynn after this.
Van Pelt rolling towards the far sideline, shoots an end run, almost intercepted but completed. To Kenny Swain. Oh, may or may not be over in that far corner.
Those were the days, eh? 3 yards in a cloud of dust, grass stains hung to the field coming up. That was 58 when Bud Grant's Blue Bombers beat Jim Trimble's Tiger Cats 35-28.
Just makes you proud to be a Bomber alumni.
Jimmy Kemp in the game now, Chris, at quarterback, as Kerwin Bell has failed to move this Argo team. The first 15 minutes, Kemp back to pass. He'll throw across the middle, kick Mitchell. It's intercepted. Out of Mitchell's hands and into Sean Woodson, and the Tiger Cats have the ball inside the Argo 15.
What a great play. I tell you what, it's just a matter of being in the right place at the right time for Sean Woodson. Kemp's going to run a little play action. He's just going to try and hit a quick slant. Stop and go. Mitchell has his hands up, can't squeeze the football. The ball goes up in the air, almost like a tip drill. Sean Woodson leaps and dives and comes up with a big interception and gives Hamilton great field position on the Argonaut 13-yard line.
His first interception of the season, coming in the Cats' second last game of 2001. And what a backfire at quarterback as Kemp unfortunately gives up the pick on the deflection. Darryl Mitchell, and now Danny McManus with a chance to take advantage of the turnover. He'll throw. It's nearly intercepted. Chris Neal diving in front of Darren Flutie, nearly had it for the Argos.
Well, absolutely. Chris Neal reads the fact that Darren Flutie is going to try and run a little out pattern, stays with his back pocket, and that's a sign of a good guy. He just stays there and reads him. Flutie's just going to come down and just break it off to the outside. Now 18, Chris Neal sees it, anticipates the ball, and does a great job of closing, and almost comes up with the interception.
Manis trying to shoehorn that ball into Darren Flutie. Incomplete. Second down and 10. Ball on the Toronto 13. McManus again across the middle. Hits the upright. Flutie was open. It's incomplete. And what are the odds?
Well, I'll tell you what. These are haunted goalposts. We saw Giancola attempt a field goal to hit the crossbar. And, of course, as you say on this play, Danny McManus sits back there, and he's got a wide open Darren Flutie only to hit the bottom of the crossbar.
And so the ball goes to the turf, and it'll be a field goal situation from the 20 for Paul Osbaldiston. His first field goal attempt of the game is down, up, and good as Ozzy's leg looks good off the ground. And the Tiger Cats open a 10-2 lead here in the second quarter. Manis on the Hamilton bench, still a little frustrated after hitting the uprights on what looked like a short touchdown pass. You know, a lot of quarterbacks, I remember Doug Flutie used to do that every week in the last practice before the game, and he could never hit the upright, and he tried to do it.
This was one of those times that he didn't want to win the bets.
That's Cody Ledbetter consoling the signal caller. Kemp hands off to Jenkins. That's more like it as Jenkins bursts through a seam, and a big run for a Toronto first down, 15 yards up the gut.
But it all starts with that offensive line, and Jude St. John picks up the blitzing Sean Woodson, who's right there. He's going to come through there. Now look at him pick him out. That is a great job by 66 to open up that hole to allow Michael Jenkins to run to daylight.
On his hands on the linebacker, Jason Lamar, to open that hole. First down, Toronto. Kemp on the ground again, right side. Jenkins rushing hard to center field for a gain of 5, maybe 6.
And one of the things that's happening right now, Mark, is the linebacking crew of the Ticats is playing tight to the line of scrimmage because they expect in the situations. You can see Schelling right there, and of course the man who makes a tackle, Sean Woodson, the other wide side linebacker, really tight, making the plays as close to the line of scrimmage as possible.
Woodson eyeballing Jenkins, the CFL's leading rusher right now in the final weekend of the regular season. Kemp rolling, pressure, throws it over top of the hands of Michael Jenkins, who was covered one-on-one by safety Rob Hitchcock. It's incomplete, and it's third down.
Well, third down, and you never know what Hamilton's going to do on defense. We saw them bring in Chris Schelling. We've seen them bring both Schelling and Woodson. This time they bring the linebacker, middle linebacker, Jason Lamar. Just going to come up, right, do the rush. You can see him right in the middle. They're just working against the center right there. Get a 5-on-5 where it turns out to be one man against one man blocking you, and it's the better man that'll win.
Jeff Johnson and Archie Amerson back to return this punt. Noel Prefontaine. He gets it away. Low spiral into the wind. Amerson has it at the 15. Runs into his own man. And Elberg is right there to make the tackle for Toronto as the punt cover limits that return by Archie Amerson to just 3 yards. Brad Elberg, the budding lawyer out of Queen's University, with 18 special teams tackles, number 2 for the Argonauts coming in to make it 19 on the season.
Well, the backup safety, he's the man that will replace Steinhauer if anything unfortunately did happen to him. But he only knows he can contribute whatever he has to do on the football field. He does it so well on those special teams.
Tiger Cats leading the Argos 10-2 with 11:49 to go until halftime in a crucial game for the Argos. Yet to get started on offense. McManus in the shotgun. Pressure, will be sacked. It's Alfred Payton with his first sack of the season against the Tiger Cats. Chris, on Labor Day, he had 1 tackle to show for his efforts. and this time he's looking fired up.
Well, you know, that's Alford. I mean, he's just going to be on the top right up there. And all he's going to do is going to make an inside move. Take him to the outside. Look at the underneath arm bar. What a great job going against a good tackle in Seth Dittman. But he got him to freeze, came back inside. And as you say, the first sack against Hamilton this year for Alfred Payton.
Yes, in that head-to-head battle with Montfort on Labor Day, he had 1 tackle. Montfort had 2 sacks and 7 tackles for the Tiger Cats. Second down, McManus to the sidelines for Andrew Grigg. He's got it this time and steps out of touch, just shy, it looks, of the first down marker.
Well, just shy, but I tell you, I shudder every time I see Danny McManus throw this pass. Wide side throw. He puts it in the air. It hangs in the air for such a long time. I mean, look at all the way across this. Now, the only way this is successful is if it exactly happens in this case where Wayne Shaw, the cornerback, is playing off. Because if he gets a good break on that ball, it's, you know, it's 2 guys fighting for 1 football. And a lot of times, that secondary guy, defensive secondary guy, is going to come up with it, and he's going to take it for a touchdown.
It's a dangerous pass inside your own 20, and it means that Osbaldiston will have to punt. He's standing at his own 1. Adrian Smith, Chuck Levy back as Osbaldiston gets this one end over end to center field. Adrian Smith, straight arm, then finally pulled down, fumble. It looks like the Cats have it. Sean Woodson recovers for the Tiger Cats. And Adrian Smith looks like he's hurt.
Well, he's either hurt or he's trying to hide. The biggest thing is Wayne Butler. Nice job of coming down the field, reaching from the backside, grabbing him, forcing the ball to be stripped, and Sean Woodson, who already has an interception, comes up with the fumble recovery.
Wayne Butler savoring the fumble he forced. We've got 2 angles, Chris.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's just going to do this. He's just going to, you can see, just punch the football right out of there. The ball just gets right out. Sean Woodson has already got an interception. And that's what hustle happens. That's what happens when you hustle right there.
Been a long afternoon for Adrian Smith. First down, Tiger Cats movement. Flags are down as Tiggle and O'Shea were in the backfield before McManus could set up.
And I think Danny Mac was saying, thank God there's a flag and a whistle.
Procedure, Hamilton, number 68, repeat first down.
Well, Big Dave Hack is going to just jump. He's right over here. Little anticipation. Gets out of that snap count just a second too early and working against Alfred Payton.
So with a 5-yard penalty against Dave Hack and the Tiger Cats, it is 1st and 15 Hamilton. Ball at their own 40. McManus to pass, looking deep down the sidelines for Grant. Coverage from Wayne Shaw. He's complaining there was interference right in front of the Ticat bench, but Jacques Descaries is waving him off.
Wayne Shaw is steadily improving so much that he might be one of the better cornerbacks in the CFL right now. I mean, they go after this guy. He's not the tallest guy. He's only 5'9". Great speed, but even if you have speed, what he's really got is anticipation for the football. Look how he turns back. Turns back to see the football in flight.
He had a case there too, Chris.
Absolutely. It would have been offensive pass interference, as you say, because Wayne Shaw has the right to fight for that football.
Shaw with 5 interceptions to tie him to the team lead, with Orlando Steinauer studying under your old teammate Donald Smith at the cornerback position. Here's McManus throwing again. It's nearly intercepted. Adrian Smith says he had the ball as he went to the turf of the 50, but it's waved off, intended for Andrew Grigg, as Smith tries to redeem himself for the fumble.
Well, I'm not sure, Mark, where that ball was. It was a little too high for Flutie, a little too short for Andrew Grigg. He just sits back there, and he knows where he wants to go, but we're not sure. It's over the head of Darren Flutie. Underthrown for Andrew Grigg. The closest to it was that man right there, Adrian Smith, who does trap the football. You see it just bounces off the turf. Good call by the official.
So McManus heads to the bench. Osbaldiston to punt on 3rd and 15. Ozzie playing with the injured calf. Troubled his punting. Here's Brown on the run, gets a seam. Is pulled down from behind as he crosses the 50, but there are flags on the play as Brown is helped to his feet.
down.
Both these teams, the Argos and Tiger Cats, are really hitting their stride at the right time, coming in with 4-1 records, the hottest clubs in the CFL.
Well, that's right. All season, who do we talk about? The number 3 one right there, Winnipeg. They had the Big 12-game winning streak, and now you wonder, he lost 2 in a row. What's happening in their mindset right now as they host the Eastern Final on the 18th?
And they got 2 weeks to sit and think about that before they can do anything about it in the Eastern Final. Ronnie Lancaster has crept up on everybody. I remember at Labor Day he was saying all we want to do is get separation with the Argos in 4th place. Here he is fashioning a 2nd place finish, and they'll host the Eastern semifinal next weekend.
Well, Mark, I love what he said when he said, what's going to happen? You're playing the Argos. It's really a nothing game for you. He says, we're going to kick their proverbial, and I can only use this word, butt on the air.
That's what he said. He's as fired up as the players themselves as he brings all the starters into this football game against Pinball Clemens and the Argonauts. And this is the first of 3 games in 9 days for the Tiger Cats, as they will have to fly on Monday to Vancouver, a 5-hour flight, play the makeup game against the Lions on Tuesday night, the game that was postponed a week after the September 11th disaster in the USA, then fly back and host the Eastern semifinal.
The only good thing from a player's perspective is we hate practice. We don't like practicing, so I'd rather play the game, and there's another bonus there. We get that extra paycheck.
Little motivation. And you know, Ron was saying, you know, back in 1963, I played 5 playoff games in 14 days, so this is nothing. Jimmy Kemp still at the helm after relieving Kerwin Bell at quarterback for the Argos. Play action, time to pass. He'll roll now. Here's Montford in pursuit. He gets a hand on him, and he gets a sack.
Well, Jimmy Kemp is trying to find somebody open downfield. Little play action, trying to freeze the linebacking crew of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Going to put it in there, pull it out. Right there. Now he sits. He's got time. Now he gets to the outside. Now it becomes a race, a foot race. And I don't like your odds, Mr. Kemp, when you're going against number 53, Joe Montford. But I also think, get rid of the football. Throw the football out of bounds.
The monster of the Midway now with 19 sacks, reestablishing his 4-sack lead on rival Alfred Payton. It's the league lead. Flags fly, and there's a hog-tying contest at the 30. It looked like Roque was upset. Gonzalo Floyd, the other member in that skirmish.
Procedure, Toronto, number 68, repeat 2nd down.
Roque is called for procedure. The 2nd time in this football game. Big Joe Montfort fired up again, having another tremendous season. 2 sacks in each of the 2 games against the Cats coming into this one, or rather the Argos, and Alfred Payton 1 for 1 in the battle with Montfort here this afternoon. 2nd down, 20 to go. Kemp with time, he'll throw. It's knocked down. Nigel Williams was the intended receiver, but there's Sean Woodson standing over top of him. He batted it down.
You know what? Zone coverage. You know, Nigel Williams sits in the zone, but you can't telegraph this pass. Now, Jimmy Kemp sits back here, and he's looking for him all the way. He's following him all the way. Now, when he throws this football, Sean Woodson sees this, and you know, that just makes it a lot easier and a lot tougher to complete those passes. You know, look him off. Do something different, but you can't sit there.
Here's trouble. Prefontaine can't get it away. He throws it up for grabs, and it's nearly intercepted. It's incomplete. They may have blown the whistle, Chris, when he was in the grass. Nevertheless, it's a turnover on downs. Another disastrous play for the Argos, and great field position for the Cats when we come back. Down with the CFL record holder in block kicks. Gerald Vaughn came up the middle.
Well, this is the guy we got to watch right there. That's Gerald Vaughn. But these guys have got to come back in here and pick him up as he does the rush. The center snaps the football. Nobody picks him up. He's got a free run to the quarterback. That's why those upbacks are there, Mark.
Michel Dupuis did not touch anybody And Vaughn was free to charge in. And the Cats have a scoring opportunity here. First down at the 25. Davis hurdling one tackler. That was Tiggle. He got by. Crossing the 20. Deep into the red zone of the Argos.
Well, the Argonauts are quickly digging themselves a hole, Mark. I mean, this is something you can't do. We realize this is a do-or-die situation. You see Prefontaine not happy at all. And here's his reaction after the whole situation. He tries to get it off, decides he can't kick it, goes down, attempts to try and throw the football, but
Chris, remember, he dropped the opening snap on Labor Day for a 12-yard loss against these Tiger Cats. Second down and 3. McManus to throw. It's complete to Trevor Shaw in the game for Mike Morielli at slotback, and a first down Tiger Cats.
Well, Trevor Shaw with his second catch of the football season. Coach Lancaster says, we want to get this guy more involved in our offense. He's a big guy. He's 6'3" tall. He's a good target for Danny McManus.
Right, Chris, coming in with one catch for 10 yards. Comes in off the bench cold and makes a clutch catch. As the Tiger Cats now are first and goal on the Toronto 6-yard line. Argos with 3 turnovers so far in the first half. Motion now, Amerson. They'll hand off to Troy Davis. Up the gut, pushing. Not much room as he shoved back Chris Neal in there, and tempers flaring. The Argos try to prevent this one from getting in the end zone, holding the Cats in a similar situation to a field goal earlier in the quarter.
Well, just as you say, penetration's the key right there. And you can see Mike O'Shea. I mean, that linebacker, he gets up there. He loves to play that line. He loves to play the run. Gets up there, does a nice job of fighting off the block. And I say Chris Neal's in there as well, number 18. Forcing him into a second and goal situation.
Heavy team in for the Tiger Cats. Second and goal. McManus to pass. It's nearly intercepted, but flags are down as the ball sails in and out of Adrian Smith's hands. It looked like Corey Grant was the intended receiver, but he broke off his route early.
And as you say, as he broke off the route and came back into the middle of the football field, he fell.
Illegal contact on a receiver. Toronto number 12. That's the first down.
Oh my. So Adrian Smith is called for illegal contact on Grant.
Well, Grant just going to work inside. You can see. Just gets his hands on him. Pushes him to the ground. Being a little excessive right there. And
so instead of it being a third down situation, it's first and goal. Tiger Cats hand off to Troy Davis. Puts his head down and runs right into Chris Neal. There are flags on the play. What contact, Chris?
Well, a nice job to never say die defense of the Argos. I mean, they realize the situation as we see the surge by the offensive line, but the filling. Look at Chris Neal meeting him right there, putting his head down, getting as low as the running back to stop him short.
Offside, Toronto, number 98.
Oh my. The Argos continue to shoot themselves in the foot as Kelvin Kinney is called.
And what is something we said, one of the keys, you cannot take these penalties. We've just seen an example of why they hurt you.
Argos ranked 4th in the CFL penalties, 159 coming into this game, and they just keep giving Hamilton chance after chance. First and goal. Davis up the gut, more traffic. There's a pileup, and he did not get across the goal line as this Argo defense rises up again.
Well, this is a nice job. I mean, but how many times can you keep doing this? I mean, they're filling the holes. They're stopping the, they're stopping the run game. Troy Davis again stopped at the contact. Look at it. Look at the ball pops out there. Now that's a fumble. That ball is free right there.
That was picked up by Randy Bowles, but they'd blown the play dead. Otherwise, it may have been a Ticat touchdown. Second and goal. The sneak up the middle. McManus. Touchdown. Tiger Cats.
Mark, you know that was bound to happen. You cannot take pass interferences in your end zone. You cannot jump offside and goal line stands. Two crucial mistakes, allowing Hamilton to get time and time and time again to try and score, and eventually you're going to go and get it in there, and Danny McManus just gets behind the big Hogs. They actually bring in Paul Lambert, who played center last week for Carl Coulter in that short yardage situation. He does another outstanding job of getting his man, pushing him back, scoring with him if you would, and Danny Mac goes into the end zone, and now we have a 17-2 Hamilton lead.
McManus with his second rushing touchdown of the season, and you're right, Chris, the Argonauts just gave them chance after chance as Mike Mihalik goes back for a breather. The Hoggies for Hamilton really having their hands full with that Argo defensive front seven.
Well, the Argos defensive front seven are doing a nice job, but you can't keep giving them all these opportunities. And this is the end result of that. Again, it's on the 1 yard line. You tuck behind your big Hogs. You know they're going to score. Great surge by them. But I tell you what, up to that point, as you say, Mark, that front seven of the Toronto Argonauts did its job. But penalties will kill you.
There's the scoring drive, 25 yards in 6 plays. The Tiger Cats have now scored 10 points off Toronto turnovers. Let's take a look at how they put this drive together, Chris. It all began with this blocked punt. Poor blocking, and then Prefontaine had nowhere to go. Shaw in off the bench, the second catch of the season, and then finally, after some penalties, gave the Cats chance after chance. Danny McManus with his second plunging touchdown on the ground of the season. Osbaldiston to kick off with the win, gets a good one. Deep to Tyrone Brown, forced back to his own 8-yard line. Looks to go up the middle between the hash marks, running freely. Finally hits some traffic as he crosses the 34-yard line. A 65-yard kickoff and a 19-yard return. And it looks like Kerwin Bell, yes, is coming back into the game. So the starter, who was pulled after being ineffective and relieved by Jimmy Kemp, comes back in after having a chance to watch from the sideline.
Hey, it's do or die. You know what, if these two guys, I mean, it doesn't matter. You pull anybody in. As you see, 2 for 5. Saw Kemp come in, his first pass intercepted. It was a deflection. It was on the money to Mitchell. He just couldn't make the catch. But as we say, Mitchell really non-factor so far in this football game.
Let's see what Bell has up his sleeve after having a chance to settle down and watch from the sidelines. He'll go to a 5-receiver set, shotgun formation. Pressure. He dumps it off to Mike Jenkins. Jenkins hit by Gonzalo Floyd at the line of scrimmage and just gets crossed for a short or no gain at all.
A nice job of pressure of getting in the quarterback's face. Just going to keep working. Roque at the top of your screen, pushing Joe Monfort all around. Gonzalo Floyd with the bull rush on Morgan, but now he puts it in Jenkins' hands, and Gonzalo, who's playing some outstanding football, and then backside end for the Ticats, comes over and finishes the play off himself.
Chris, the loss on the play, 1 yard. It's 2nd and 11. Tough second down situation for Bell. There's the blitz. He gets it away. It's incomplete, intended for Ted Alford, and again, way out in front of him.
Well, that's just a situation of a poor throw. It's where it has to be, but you got to bring it back and get on the same page with the receivers.
EDC. Punting situation. Prefontaine gets this one away. A nice high punt to Archie Amerson at the 38. Amerson gets a tremendous block from Schelling, but flags are down as Amerson gets outside. Prefontaine makes the tackle, but it's coming back.
Well, I tell you what, nice job of Prefontaine getting in there for the tackle. He's a guy that loves to get involved in the action, but Chris Schelling, a little overzealous, is going to get called for a clip at the point of attack.
Illegal block. Hamilton, number 30, on the run back, first down.
So that kills a 22-yard return. Schelling takes responsibility for the block.
Well, absolutely. He's just trying to do it. You see him right there. He blocks to the backside on Real Wells. As he hits him in the back, the referee is right there. The official throws the flag, and as you say, puts him back, and now they'll start from deeper in their own territory.
Look at the quarterback comparison as Danny McManus has hit 100 yards on 7 of 15 attempts. The Argos have been dreadful with 21 yards.
And you know what? It's not even so much that they're not on the same page. It's the fact that the quarterbacks just can't seem to connect. The accuracy of the quarterbacks is at question right now.
McManus with time in the shotgun, pumping, going downfield for Corey Grant is way over his head. Coverage from Adrian Smith, who is known to be aggressive on the corner, Chris, to bite. Remember, they beat him on a bomb to Andrew Grigg on Labor Day.
Well, they call him a peeker. He's going to read the quarterback as he goes to his back pedal, and as he sees a pump fake, he'll bite on it and stop, and that allows the receiver to get behind him. This situation, he stayed with Corey Grant, the ball overthrown. Really no harm on that play at all.
Adrian Smith with 3 interceptions coming into this football game. Ranked 3rd in the Argo secondary that came in tied with Winnipeg with a league-leading 22 picks. Second down 10, McManus throwing. It's intercepted. Wayne Shaw and daylight. Pulled down by Archie Amerson. But Wayne Shaw's 6th interception gives the Argos their first serious scoring opportunity of the game.
Well, just, you know, Mark, the receivers are all bunched together. That's the first thing I see. I see a whole cluster of Hamilton receivers. I mean, there's Rio Wells, and of course the man that wants the ball the most, you can see him right there. His 2 receivers are in the same field, same pitcher. Wayne Shaw seems to be the only guy that fights for the football. He sees it, the only one that makes a reaction on the football, and the first big break for the Argonauts.
So the Canadian, Wayne Shaw out of Kent State, Winnipeg native, with a huge turnover for the Argonauts. It is first and 10 Toronto at the Hamilton 21-yard line. Kerwin Bell at quarterback in the shotgun. He'll hand off to Michael Jenkins. Jenkins with some blocking, crashing to the 15-yard line of the Tiger Cats.
Well, nice job. Little delay handoff. You almost want to see it get faster, hit the hole faster, but that's the way they feel this play is more effective. He's just going to do a little thing, tuck it in there, and then he decides to read his play as he follows the pulling Dwayne Morgan. But he picks up 5 yards and puts him in a second and medium to short situation where they can utilize either a run or a pass.
They'll call it 2nd and 4. Chris Jenkins with 35 yards, 5 yards per carry so far. Play action, the pass is thrown and intercepted. Sean Woodson has it for the Tiger Cats, and there's no one to catch him. At the 30, the 20, in a convoy to the end zone. Touchdown, Tiger Cats. 101-yard return on the pick of Kerwin Bell.
Well, they tried to come back to Daryl Mitchell, their big play guy, and I don't know what Sean Woodson's horoscope said today in the paper, but if I was him, I'd go, I'd clip it out, and I'd put it in my locker because it is Sean Woodson Day for the Cat defense.
Kerwin Bell on the bench, perplexed as he offered that one up in the flats intended for Daryl Mitchell.
Just a little out pattern, Mark, with a ball thrown again behind the receiver. We talked about the accuracy that the Toronto quarterbacks, either Kemp or Bell, are failing to achieve. And I tell you what, Sean Woodson is having one heck of a day with his 2nd interception and a fumble recovery. And of course, this interception, 101 yards for a touchdown.
Both interceptions today is only 2 of the season. What a time to get red hot on defense. Woodson to keep the ball. Danny Mack sits and gets rested up for his next series, enjoying the spirit on this Ticat bench. It is electric.
Well, I mean, it's just a situation right there of a poor throw. We've talked about that. He's throwing from his back foot. Doesn't look like he's delivering the football with any authority. And Sean Woodson sees that. It just allows him to take it. And of course, when you do that, bam, that's what's going to happen. I mean, he just steps in front of Mitchell. I mean, this is one of those days. And right now, everything, and I mean everything, is going the Ticat way.
And Joe Montford with pressure right in the face of Kerwin Bell to make him throw off the back foot. You're right, Chris. It was a terrible pass in behind the intended receiver, Daryl Mitchell. And it looks like the Ticats have an injury, and Dwayne Ford is still on the field.
Well, you can see pinball. Coach Michael Clemens has got to figure out what he's got to do to jumpstart these guys, get his offense going, because he said yesterday that he thought his team would be so fired up. And that is not a happy face we see.
Look at him.
The coach.
Pinball looking very upset as his Argos fall 24-2 behind the Tiger Cats with 1:42 to go in the half. This game is so crucial for the Argos.
Well, that's it. We talk about it. I mean, you can beat this to death. It's do or die. You either go to this football game, you either play it and you win, or you start your Christmas shopping. That's what it's about right now. And the way they're playing right now, I think they've got appointments at Bay and Sears and all this, because they just don't look like they're at the intensity level that I thought they'd be at.
Neither Argo quarterback, Bell nor Kemp, has been effective in this football game. Kemp is warming up on the sidelines right now. The Argos have to get something going. They've dug themselves a huge hole, down 24-2. Their playoff fortunes in the balance. They really can't afford to lose this and hope that BC loses both of its remaining 2 games to get into the Western playoff spot. Here's Tyrone Brown on the return. Breaks 1 tackle and is hit hard. Jeff Johnson, the point man on special teams for the Tiger Cats. A 57-yard kick and a 21-yard return. And the Argos are lifeless right now.
Hey, you know what, Mark? I want to see them get Mitchell involved like every other Argo fan. To see Bell on the... He's totally
Kerwin
upset.
Bell is really upset as he threw his helmet down and went back to the bench, and it looks like Mike Pinball Clemens gesturing and pointing towards the dressing room. And tempers flaring between the head coach and the starting quarterback, Kerwin Bell. This is not good for the Toronto Argonauts as Jimmy Kemp goes to work on offense.
You know what, Mark? You're absolutely right. Coach Clemens is out there worrying about taking care of this football club. He can't be concerned with squabbles.
So it's Kemp back in at quarterback, handing off to Michael Jenkins. Jenkins taking this offense by the hand, and it looks like he might have a first down as Alfred Payton sits beside the disgruntled quarterback, and he is known, Kerwin Bell is, to show his feelings in public. He has been known to berate receivers who've dropped passes, Chris, but this is one thing, going toe-to-toe with the head coach.
Mark, it's about a team game. There's no I in team. And whatever it takes to get this team to jumpstart, to get them in a chance to win this football game, to make the playoffs, that's what it's about. It's not about individual. Yeah, your pride is hurt. You're sitting for a few series, but take it like a man.
It is a first down on the Jenkins rumble up the middle for the Argos. They'll go back to the sophomore, but this time the Cats are waiting, and he's hit right at the line of scrimmage. Big Larry Fitzpatrick, the man filling in for Ben Huff at tackle.
Well, the big boys in the front, look at those 2 guys. Darth Vader, 77, Mike Philbrick, and his partner in his 4th game, Larry Fitzpatrick, just going to get some great pressure up the middle. And if you want to stuff the running game, you got to get that penetration. You see Joe Montford, you see Jason Lamar. I mean, they're all in there. This is a fired-up Ticat defense. We watched them last week against Montreal. Look at the eyes. Huh?
It's a loss of a foot. 2nd and 10. Kemp looking. He's got time. He can't get the pass away. I think it's intercepted.
Well, never mind that.
It's Woodson again. Sean Woodson with the hat trick. His 3rd interception, and that one at point-blank range.
And here's the thing. He just signed a new contract yesterday that if he got 3 interceptions, he'd get $1 million bonus. Well, baby, back up the Brinks truck.
Look at this, Chris. Right in front. It's tipped, and he picks it up. Poor Jimmy Kemp. That's 2 picks off deflections.
And you know what? You cannot fault Jimmy Kemp on this play. You got to give him some protection. Why? Because for them to be successful, Jimmy Kemp has got to go deep on this play. He's got to start stretching his Hamilton defense, and he's got to get guys like Mitchell and Alfred involved vertically in this offense.
Another turnover. The Tiger Cats first down at the 39 of Toronto. It's complete to Corey Grant. Breaks the tackle. Heads for the first down marker and drilled out of bounds by Orlando Steinauer. Another first down for the Tiger Cats as they move the chains. 49 seconds to go in the half, and a chance to score again on an Argo turnover.
Well, it's just a situation, as you say, what do turnovers do? They just give the opposition's offense more time on the football field, more time to have fun. And Danny Max is just, you know, he's just playing with him right now. He's throwing the ball left, he's throwing it right, he's getting Corey Grant back involved in the offense. He's happy because he's getting to touch the rock a few times.
First down, McManus across the middle, complete to Trevor Shaw, and another first down as he gallops across
things that Hamilton are doing with these little inside middle routes. This is vintage Toronto. This is what Toronto wants to be doing with Mitchell, but yet Hamilton almost stealing a page from him. Getting Trevor Shaw with his second catch of the day, a little across. Look how wide open he is.
A 19-yard gain on his second catch of the game. Pinball Clemens, what might he have to say if he'll talk to us at the half? Here's Troy Davis, head down, touchdown, Tiger Cats. It's a one-sided football game in Hamilton.
Well, I really don't think the Argos are showing up, and I hate to say that because for a part of the game, the defense looked sharp. The defense looked like they were involved. But it's so frustrating when your offense keeps giving them time and time, more opportunities to score. And Troy Davis just goes up the middle. Nice job of reaching, stretching over, putting the ball across the goal line for another touchdown and a 31-2 lead. But it's just awful right now. And as you say, Mike Clemens is a very calm man. Normally, what might he say, as you say, in the locker room? Because I tell you what, aside from going out to the trunk of your car and getting some jumpers to boost these boys and going into each one of their backsides, I don't know what he's going to do.
Chris, 24 points for the Tiger Cats on 5 Toronto turnovers, and the golden smile of Troy Davis. He had 2 last week against Montreal, and this time he put his head down and battered Marcelo Simmons to score here. 24 points on turnovers. That has been the story of this first half, and this game might well indeed be over at halftime.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I'm an advertiser now. This first half brought to you by Sean Woodson and Associates, because that's what it is. This being the Sean Woodson Show.
3 interceptions for Woodson. His 3 in this game. The only 3 he's had this season.
And a fumble recovery as well.
Tremendous day for this young man. A linebacker from Jackson State in only his 2nd season in the CFL. Osbaldiston's kick, a knuckleballer that drops at the 20, bounces high to Adrian Smith at the 15. Smith gets a block from Wayne Shaw, then is gang tackled at the 35-yard line. Warren Muzica was drilled on that play to open the lane for Adrian Smith. But there's the damage. 31-2 with 16 seconds to go in the half. Kerwin Bell now up and on talking terms. Besides John Jenkins, the offensive coordinator, as Kemp goes back in at quarterback.
Well, absolutely. It's very important for Kerwin Bell to be involved in this offense. He knows the game so well. But you can't, as a veteran, as a leader of this football club, show that kind of emotion. That does not help your cause.
16 seconds to go. The Argos will have to regroup at halftime after a disastrous first half here at Ivor Wynne. Kemp will pass. He has time. Now will scramble from the pocket and run himself. Diving in front of Jason Lamar. Just shy of the first down.
Well, you know what? Jimmy Kemp is running for his life. You know, if you're watching this, you're thinking he's just pulling the ball down and running. Larry Fitzpatrick, number 98, is just a war horse in the middle right there. He is getting such penetration that he's not allowing Jimmy Kemp to have any comfort zone as far as a viewing lane to throw the football.
This will be the last play of the half, Chris. Kemp throwing down deep. It's complete to Tyrone Brown, and he's rocked. No, he dropped it. Had the ball, then lost it, and Gerald Vaughn impaled him with a shot from behind. 31-2, Hamilton at the half. As we go down to the sidelines, here's Peter with the Toronto head coach.
Coach Clemens, you had a heated argument there with Kerwin Bell. What was said?
Well, I think the biggest thing is we need to stay with our game plan. We were supposed to be running the football out there. We threw an interception. He didn't want to be pulled out of the game, and I think he took the wrong approach to that, and we can't do that.
You're coming unglued here. A lot of penalties, turnovers. What do you have to say at halftime to get your team back in this game?
Well, I don't think necessarily it's unglued. Hamilton has made some plays. They're a very good football team, and we've never been in sync. We've made some mistakes, but that's we have to just go in at halftime, and those guys can't give up. That's the key, is not giving up.
Okay, best luck in the second half, Coach. Let's go back upstairs to Mark now.
Mike Pinball Clemens maintaining his composure when his starting quarterback could not. The Argos are in big trouble, down 31-2 to the rampaging Tiger Cats at the half. Hometown Tiger Cats with a huge 31-2 lead over the Argos at halftime. Well, Argo running back Michael Jenkins might well be the best kept secret in Toronto. He is currently the CFL's rushing leader, but in a city that focuses on the Leafs and the Raptors, his record-breaking season is being played out in relative anonymity.
One of the things I learned a little growing up is that everybody's kind of got different things. And, you know, the best thing that you could do is have a little bit of everything. You know, you don't want to be one-dimensional as a running back. You don't want to be a guy that's known he can only run outside. You don't want to be a guy known who can only run inside. The more versatile you can be, the longer you'll stay in the game. A lot of people don't like short backs, but I really think in the terms of being lower to the ground, you can make a lot of cuts. If you ever watch Barry Sanders, I mean, I feel he was the master at doing that. You know, he can have his shoulders straight at the sideline, all of a sudden turn up a 90-degree angle and never miss a beat.
But what makes him get the extra yards time in and time out is desire. He has great desire, great passion, a great fervor for the game. In, we had basically a passing offense, but you know, you don't understand. This guy is as good as they come. He has to touch the ball 15 to 20 times a game, and as time went on, right, the truth spoke up for itself. John Jenkins, I think, now is his biggest fan.
The Argos suffered this year when rushing accounted for a third of their offense. Lately, Toronto has won 4 of 5 games with equal portions of Michael Jenkins.
We're a more successful team when we run the ball. And we set up the pass better when we run the ball. And I think that it kind of came to, you know, when you start losing, you try to find other alternatives. And I think we found out when we mix it up even, we're at our best.
In just his second year, Jenkins has broken Gil Fenerty's single-season Argo rushing record. He is the team's biggest rising star. But in the city that celebrates its hockey and basketball heroes, Michael Jenkins goes virtually unnoticed on a trip to the mall with teammate Darren Joseph. This despite the fact he may well be the heir apparent to one of Toronto's most popular sports figures.
I say Michael Jenkins is the next great player in this league. And Michael Jenkins will get records that I didn't touch because, unlike me, Michael Jenkins is a pure running back. When you talk about the great players like the Emmitt Smiths, the Mike Pringles, the guys that feel the game, and he turns 5 yards into 8 yards consistently.
If pinball's right, Michael Jenkins may one day be discovered hiding in an Argo uniform in downtown Toronto.
He's going to pass.
CFL Scrapbook with Don Whitman, brought to you by Dodge. Grab life by the horns.
8 times in CFL history, teams have combined to score 100 or more points. But on September 1st, 1990, the Toronto Argonauts and the BC Lions established a league record for scoring. 2 of the premier quarterbacks in the CFL, Doug Flutie and Matt Dunnigan, were at the controls of their respective teams that September day. The game started rather innocently with no early indication that a scoring record would be established. After an early exchange of field goals, the first touchdown came as the result of an Ed Berry interception. A fumble recovery produced a second touchdown for Toronto. And then the quarterbacks took over. Flutie firing strikes for the Lions, and Ricky Foggy replacing Dunnigan, running and throwing for the Argos. The team scored 3 touchdowns in the final minute of the game as the Argos won 68-43, and the teams established a league record by scoring 111 points. Twice last year, teams came close, but 111 points is still the record.
The Argos could use Ricky Foggy out there today. Chris, it's been an unmitigated disaster for the Argonauts in the first half, giving up 24 points on 5 turnovers.
Well, that's the biggest thing right now. They're a team without an identity. I really expected the intensity level to be so much higher. I thought to be a lot crisper, and I thought the mistakes would be a lot fewer. But as you say, every time they get a chance to shoot themselves in the foot, they do it.
Tiger Cats have been the opportunists in this first half, and they struck a chord early when Danny McManus went deep to Corey Grant.
Well, absolutely. You know, he'd love to get this guy involved in the game. He hasn't been using him much lately, but Corey Grant does a nice job of taking it inside, beating Adrian Smith, and taking it for an early lead for Hamilton.
65 yards for the touchdown. Then the disasters. This one, the most glaring, as Sean Woodson picks off Kerwin Bell and returns it 101 yards for a touchdown. He has 3 interceptions and 1 fumble recovery so far in the first half.
He's got a season highlight package in one half of football. And then, of course, the situation doesn't get any better as Kerwin Bell is pulled out of the game to sit down for a few series. And you can see right now reacting very poorly about the judgment call made by Coach Clemens and the tempers flare. And this is not what you need when he is supposedly one of the leaders of this offensive football team.
Well, when talking to Peter Rutgazer, the coach looked pretty composed. I wonder what he's saying in that Argo locker room right now.
You know what? That's him. He's class. Clemens is class. He will never air his laundry in public. That stuff is for behind locker room doors. He's not happy. He's going to address it right now, and he's going to give everybody a sharp talking to, and you're going to look for these guys. If they don't come out of the gate at all early in the second half, boy, I tell you, it's going to be a long bus ride home.
But would you say that Kerwin Bell has played his last down as an Argonaut?
I think you could make that statement. We know he's retiring, but I think if he had any indication that maybe he wanted to play somewhere else, perhaps Ottawa, I mean, nobody's going to want to take a chance on a guy that's not a team player.
Well, if the Argos hope to make the playoffs in the West, they've got to do something dire here in the second half as they trail Hamilton 31-2 after a tremendous first half for the Tiger Cats. We're back to Ivor Wynn in the second half kickoff right after this.
Coach Lancaster, you kept your word. You wanted to play hard today. You're treating it just like a playoff game, I think.
I just believe you've got to get ready to play every game. And I'm proud of these guys because, you know, there's been a lot of talk this week of what we're going to do. We decided we were going to play like any other game, and they've responded so far. Good effort.
Late in the second quarter, the offense started to pick up a little bit more, started to get a little bit more confident. Happy with the way they're playing?
I'm happy with everything. I mean, when you look at the scoreboard and see the score, there's no reason to be not happy. I mean, it's just a good day for us so far, yeah.
Best luck in the second half, Coach.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, the Argos have opted to take the wind in the fourth quarter. The tall order being down 31-2. Tyrone Brown, who was shaken up at the end of the half, it looks like he's okay. He's back to receive this kickoff from Paul Osbaldiston. You have to wonder, Chris, how much more Danny McManus will play in this football game. It continues to be as one-sided. Adrian Smith has it for the Argonauts inside the 20. Smith upfield, breaks a tackle, still going, finally pulled down by Jeff Johnson from behind. Johnson has been a force on special teams for the Tiger Cats. A 58-yard kickoff and a 27-yard return by Adrian Smith.
You know, Mark, one of the things you talk about, you say who's going to sit down, who's going to rest. One of the things that Coach Lancaster lives by is he will never tell one of his players that they will be playing like the first or third quarter, or they might sit. He feels that takes away from their game preparation.
Well, it is indeed Jimmy Kemp at quarterback to start the second half for the Argos. Kerwin Bell was the last Argonaut out of the locker room coming back from the half, and he is on the sidelines. They'll stay on the ground. Jenkins can't find a hole. Straight arms, goes outside and is forced out of bounds by Vaughn for a short gain on the play. Here are the first half stats, Chris.
Well, I mean, does it have a big glaring turnover and a picture of Sean Woodson on it? I mean, that's the big thing right now highlighted. 5 turnovers for the Argos. They keep shooting himself in the foot. First downs 3. I mean, you have no offense. It's basically a situation where the defense has played the entire first half for the Argonauts, and they're slowly getting into a situation where it's going to be a no chance to win this football game situation.
There's the man of the first half, a Hall of Fame first half with 3 interceptions and 1 fumble recovery and a touchdown. There's movement on the line of scrimmage as we revisit that spectacular first half for the sophomore.
Well, gets an interception off a deflected pass by Darryl Mitchell. Of course, then the ball is punched out, and he comes up with a fumble recovery, and then the big one, the big interception return, 101 yards. And again, another deflection, and who does the ball go down to? Number 17, Sean Woodson.
Handshakes all around for the second-year player out of Jackson State. Tremendous day today as he leads this Tabby defense. 2nd down and 8. Kemp to pass. Lots of time across the middle in traffic. It's intended for and complete to Tyrone Brown at center field. And what looks like a Toronto first down, but that one shoehorned in traffic, Chris.
Well, nice job of coming down with the football by Tyrone Brown, sitting in the middle. Nice job of protection up front. They give him the time to throw the football. Tyrone Brown finds the hole in the coverage. He sits in there, and you know what? This is a nice sign. He knows he's going to get hit. 2 receivers very close. I'm not sure about that situation, but I think Toronto at this point in time will take just the fact that they caught the football.
That was Jimmy Kemp's first completion of the football game. He'll stay on the ground this time. Michael Jenkins negotiating the Tiger Cat defense and scrambles for about 5 to the Hamilton 50-yard line. It'll be 2nd down Argos as Kemp tries to make something happen for Toronto on offense. Well, you know, 1 completion in 6 attempts.
Well, that's unbelievable. That was his first completion. He was 0 for 5 from the first half. But the biggest thing is the running game is not being very successful because Hamilton is playing so tight to that defensive line because the passing game is non-existent. This is a situation where really the passing game will help the running game develop by spreading those linebackers out and getting them to force them to get some depth.
2nd and 5. High formation. Kemp rolling from pressure. Montford on his tail. He'll run instead and have the Toronto first down. So Jimmy Kemp letting his legs do the talking there, and the Argos move the chains again.
And a nice job because remember, this game is a game of what I can do, take care of my own job. You see Joe Montford, he's going to do the rush. Now he's working against Roque. Nice job by Roque, but now Kemp leaves the protection of the pocket, gets to the outside, decides, you know what, I'm not going to throw the football. I've got a little clearance, takes off it, and as you say, picks up a first down, putting the ball in Hamilton territory.
Jimmy Kemp was punished on Labor Day. He had 7 losses. Harassed by the Ticat defense. He's mixing it up here, though. There's Michael Jenkins hitting the hole quickly, and a good first down gain of perhaps 7, maybe 8 yards.
And that play is non-existent of 66. Jude St. John doesn't take the big man out. Larry Fitzpatrick, he's got to get him. He's right there. He's got to get his block. He does a nice job. Look how he pushes him in. The fact that he gets that guy inside allows Jenkins to go outside, and that allows the play to be successful.
Big Gerald Vaughn with the tackle for the Tiger Cats. Make it 2nd down and 2 on the 8-yard pickup. Argos moving the ball with authority here. Option to Jenkins. They get him in the backfield. It's Chris Schelling with first contact. And the Ticat defense is swarming.
You know, there's a number of blocks an offensive lineman can use. You can take a guy straight up. You can try and throw at him. We also have what's a body roll. Just get your body in front of the guy. Now, Juan Roque is trying to get outside. See, he even grabs Chris Schelling by the back of the jersey. You know what? If you're at the point of attack and the guy's that much quicker, use that 6'8" big body of yours and throw at his feet.
It will be a 3rd down gamble. 3rd and 4 for the Argos. But there's nothing to lose here, down 31-2. Shotgun. Kemp to pass. He'll throw. It's knocked down. Clifford Ivory in front of Daryl Mitchell, who has not been a factor this afternoon.
Well, I'm going to tell you, when you watch this, we bring it back later, but I'll tell you what, one of the things we're going to look at, Daryl Mitchell has got to come back to the football. He's just sitting there, and that results in the play being no good.
Another look at that 6th turnover of the game for the Argos.
Well, I mean, he sits back there. Now you give him time. Now he throws the football. Now take it. I want you to watch these guys right here. Now, as the ball is thrown, you got to come back. Help your quarterback out. Now, Daryl Mitchell is a star in this league. He knows that rule. Don't sit stationary. That lets the defender get the jump on. In that play, Clifford Ivory got the jump.
2nd time the Argos have turned it over on downs in this football game. Here's McManus to pass. Throwing it to the wide side. It's complete to Darren Flutie, and he's pushed out of bounds by Rio Wells. Shy of the first down as Darren Flutie gets involved in this football game. His second catch.
You take a look at the notes we talked about early. Jenkins, Alfred, Mitchell. Jenkins, Alfred, Mitchell combination. 60 yards, no big plays. They've had big plays all day. Grant's 65-yard touchdown catch. On offense for Hamilton, 2 rushing touchdowns. We wanted them to run the ball. They're doing it and jamming the receivers. Look at that. Only 34 yards from passing and 3 interceptions.
Chris, no catches by Daryl Mitchell. There's a fumble snap. McManus can't get it. Teagle grabs it out of the air with McManus standing, and he'll rumble to the end zone. Touchdown, Argonauts.
Well, I don't know what Danny McManus is doing there, but I mean, you've got to fight for the football. He just kind of watched it go up, and he kind of stood back and said, I'm not used to catching the football. I'm used to throwing it. He allowed Calvin Teagle to take that and just step backwards.
I'm not sure, Chris, if the cadence was off. What happened between Carl Coulter and Danny McManus? No, he was ready for it. It was just a little high. Then he stood there, let it go as Teagle jumped in front and helped himself to a 35-yard return for a touchdown.
Well, that's a situation we really hate to see. I mean, don't give this team any life. And what do they do? I mean, the ball is it's just a shotgun snap. Gets away from Danny McManus, pops up in the air, and then he kind of backs away. And as you say, Calvin Teagle, number 73, returning it for a touchdown on the interception.
Teagle, 35 yards, his first fumble recovery for a rather interception, I guess we'll call it. And he's into the end zone, and the Argos get their first touchdown of this game, courtesy of the defense. And might that give some life to this Argo team? As we mentioned, Daryl Mitchell and Ted Alford have yet to catch a pass. As Mike Pinball Clemens talks to Andre Kerwan, always optimistic Pinball is, trying to get the fires going here on the Argo bench. With 10:06 to go in the third quarter. An unusual turnover for Danny Mac.
Did you see? Danny Mac just hit himself and said, you know what, my bag. I know I got to do that. I've got to take care of that. I can't let that happen. He's not happy about that play. You see a close-up look at the ball, just hits him, gets away from a little bit of a high snap, but nothing that he normally can't handle, and then he backs up. And
you know, I think he thought Troy Davis was going to get the ball, and Davis fell down.
One of those situations where you got a right fielder and a center fielder calling for the football, and nobody makes the call. And unfortunately, in this case, the guy that makes the call is Calvin Teagle, the enemy.
A little after you, Alphonse. And you're right, Teagle was gone. Prefontaine set to kick it off for the Argos. Troy Davis, Jeff Johnson, the return men for the Tiger Cats. And it will be Davis at his own 11-yard line with 6 blockers in front, goes outside, steps in front of Wells, finally driven out of bounds and hard. There are no flags, but the fans are standing.
Well, I think there should have been a flag on that one. He rode him out. He rode him out in the back of his jersey and threw him on the ground.
20-yard return for Troy Davis. You're right, Chris. Driven by Elberg nearly into the wall.
Well, that definitely, you know, they talk about, you know, protecting certain players, and sometimes you hear the criticism they'll throw the flag too early to avoid unnecessary roughness, but that's one of them that should have thrown the flag on.
McManus back to work in the shotgun for the Tiger Cats. He'll hand off to Troy Davis, who runs headlong into Mike O'Shea for a short game. The Tiger Cats continuing to run on first downs here.
What's the situation, Mark? You still got 31-9 lead. You still got Danny McManus in the game. And, you know, had Toronto not got that last touchdown by Calvin Teagle, they may have entertained thoughts of maybe pulling Danny or letting Danny sit. But I believe that Danny McManus will play as long, at least for the finish the third quarter here.
Cody Ledbetter has thrown only 17 passes this season. It's nearly intercepted. That pass intended for Mike Morielli, and Steinauer had the ball and daylight to the end zone but couldn't hold on.
Well, that is so fortunate for the Ticats because, as you say, Orlando Steinauer, the ball hawk, was 5 interceptions in the month of October, sees this and should rightly have caught this football and taken it all the way. And it would have been 2 consecutive series where the defense had scored a touchdown.
It looked like Morielli may have got his hand on the ball at the last minute to deflect it. Suddenly, the composed Tiger Cats look to be in disarray on offense. 8 Adrian Smith back to return this punt into the wind from Paul Osbaldiston. He struggled in the first quarter into the wind with kicks of 26 and 30 yards. This one's similar as it drops early at center field and will bounce to the sidelines and out of bounds at the 48-yard line. A 27-yard punt into the wind by the Oz as the Argos go to work on offense. Hamilton, as we continue to celebrate our 50th season of the CFL on CBC, it's a 31-9 Hamilton lead in the third quarter. Kemp at quarterback, handing off to Michael Jenkins. Outside, some daylight, tries to straight arm Bond. No doing as he's hogtied at the 52.
And that's the thing that's so impressive about this Ticat defense. It's their aggressive nature. It's their no-holds-barred attack style. And boy, when they meet a ball carrier, whether it be a running back or a receiver, they treat them very, very impolitely. I mean, look at this. Look at Big Gerald Vaughn slamming them down.
Like a steer wrestler on that one, Chris. The gain is 4, 2nd and 6. Jenkins out of the game. Tyrone Brown in. 5 receiver set. No, it's Jenkins still on the ground, and he'll be shy of the first down by at least 3 yards. And another third down situation. But no gamble. At least they're sending the punter on. Pinball is. Noel Prefontaine coming into the game after they failed that 3rd and 5 gamble.
Well, they got to get it, but I mean, again, we talk about the team speed, the physical nature of the Ticat as it comes toward us, right at us here. Watch the swarm of Ticats. I mean, there's 4 guys around the ball carrier. There's no chance for Jenkins to make one guy miss because the rest of his teammates are there.
Prefontaine, a spiral, driving Archie Emerson into the end zone, off the uprights, back onto the 1-yard line. Then it rolls back across the goal line before Emerson concedes a single point. Again, the uprights coming into play for the 3rd time in this football game. We've seen them knock down a Giancola field goal attempt, a Danny Mack potential touchdown pass, and now that punt into the end zone came out, then went back in.
It's the same goalposts. And I wonder if we came back here around midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning if they're going to dig this one out and burn it, melt it at the refinery.
The haunted goalposts of Hamilton's Ivor win. Call an Argo bounce on that one as they get 1 point. It's 31-10 now. Hamilton leading by 3 converted touchdowns in the 3rd quarter. McManus in the shotgun, lots of time across the middle to Emerson. Simmons behind, grabs him, rides him, and finally brings him down across the 45.
Well, Archie Emerson, the guy they really like to get involved with, his first catch of the afternoon. I mean, you look at the score and you see 31-10 mark, and you're thinking, boy, these guys must have big games. But you look, Archie Emerson with his first catch, he's a big play guy. You also look at the other guys. Where's Darren Flutie? He's only got 2 catches. Andrew Grigg gets 1,000 yards receiving last week. Goes over 1,000 yards, you should say. 1 catch today.
First down on that catch, the first of the game by Emerson. McManus, more time in the pocket, waiting, throws it across the middle, and it bounces out of the hands of Chris Neal. That could have been an interception too.
One of the biggest things that defenses will say around the league, if you have success against Danny Mack, it's force him to hesitate. Force him to hold on to the football because he's known for such a quick release. He makes his read and boom, the ball is gone. On this play, look at this. He holds on to it again, and this is the 2nd time in a handful of series that a ball should have been gone the other way. We saw Steinhauer just drop one. Orlando Steinhauer should have had the interception, and in this one, definitely Chris Neal should have had that interception.
2nd and 10 with a jittery offense of the Ticats. Here's the blitz across the middle, knocked down, and Steinhauer had a chance at that one. This Argo defense has come alive. The Hamilton offense looks touchy.
You know what? I think the Hamilton offense, going in with the lead, I think they became complacent. They were happy with the way they were playing. They thought we just can ride out the next 30 minutes, but you can't, because this Argo defense, as we look at Steinhauer making a great play again, getting a hand on the football, it actually hits him on the back of the hand. But again, another situation where the Argo defense is not quitting, and I just think it's a situation where Hamilton's offense is a little complacent, and they need to wake up a little bit and say, you know what, there's still some time to play in this football game.
Osbaldiston, a better punt this time over the head of Adrian Smith, underestimating his leg, and then he falls 2 on a 36-yard punt. The longest into the wind of the day as Cody Ledbetter, the backup quarterback, warmed up on the Ticat bench. This season, a 31-10 Hamilton lead here in the third quarter. Danny McManus has put on the baseball cap on the sidelines. He may be done for the game as Ledbetter has warmed up. But right now it's Kemp at quarterback for the Argos. Play action rolling right, lots of time. Throwing to the sidelines, way over the head of Ted Alford, who has yet to catch a pass this afternoon.
Well, again, just a situation of an inaccurate throw. The decision was right. Let's take a look at the jam production. We talked about it. Jenkins, Alford, and Mitchell today, and you can see Michael Jenkins 66 yards rushing. But Mark, look at the other two. The big goose eggs for Alford, and a surprising one for the big play guy, Daryl Mitchell.
Tell you what, though, the quarterbacks haven't been able to get the ball to their receivers today. The cupboard has been bare in your jam production. 2nd and 10. Kemp rolling left this time, away from pressure. He'll throw wide open. Nigel Williams hurdling for the first down marker before Woodson finally stops him. It'll be very close. As the big Argo target signals first down. And there will be a measurement, I think, Chris.
Well, they're going to bring the sticks out to measure as you see him roll out. Goes to the other side, opposite side of the football field, gives it to Nigel, and as you say, good effort to reach to what could be or hopefully will be a Argonaut first down.
Oh, they're just short by inches, less than the length of a football. Kemp has a chance during the measurement to have a word with John Jenkins, the offensive coordinator on the Argo bench.
You're sure he wasn't over there saying, Kerwin, what would you do?
Kerwin getting the cold shoulder, I think, these days after his outburst late in the first half. It'll be 3rd down and 1 yard to go, really less than a yard. And the Argos gambling again just across their own 40-yard line. High formation backfield. Tiger Cats stacking up the box. Here's Kemp pushing, and he'll have the Toronto first down.
Nice job of that offensive line. Pushing forward in a V formation. Using the center as the main figure of your V. And he just follows big Juan Roque, number 68, the right tackle, to pick up that first down.
Right now, Daryl Mitchell is not in the ball game. I wonder if that knee is acting up on him again. Pressure. Here's Philbrook from behind. He's got him. Down goes Jimmy Kemp. And the veteran from Carleton gets a scalp.
Well, Darth Vader, 77, comes across, lowers the boom on him. Nice shoestring tackle on Jimmy Kemp as he's trying to get to the outside. Again, pressure. They're going to bring an extra guy. Jason Lamar, the middle linebacker, comes through there, flushes Jimmy Kemp to the outside. Mike Philbrook tackles him, but even at the end of the play, you can see the hustle of Rob Hitchcock, the free safety, who's also there.
5th sack of the season for Mike Philbrook. 2nd down, 15 to go for the Argonauts. Kemp, pressure from Montford. He's got him. Breaks the way. Wow! Kemp making it up as he goes. Cross field. It's complete. Ted Alford with his first catch of the game at the 50. But he's about 2 yards short of the first down, and he looks like he's wounded.
Well, he looks very shaken up right there. He's leaning and looking at the leg. But what a wonderful job by Jimmy Kemp to keep this play alive, because, you know, Jimmy Kemp rightfully should be taken down by Joe Montford.
And you got to be wondering, what do the Argos have left at receiver? This is Daryl Mitchell curled up in a ball on the bench, and now Alford's hurting.
You know what? Obviously, you hit on it. It obviously has to be a situation where Mitchell's hurt. But let's take a look at Joe Montford working against Roque. Gets around, gets him out. This is a sack. Joe Montford wants this. He knows it's there, but a nice job of Jimmy Kemp to get to the outside, have the presence of mind to throw cross body, flip his body in the air to get the ball.
It's a tough pass to throw.
Absolutely. To Ted Alford, who makes a nice catch. They pick up a big first down. Actually, put him in a 3rd and short situation, but the more critical thing is obviously the health of Ted Alford.
Well, Well, backing Alford is the rookie out of Laurier, Andre Talbot, who's had no catches this year. And on the other side, they've got Grayson Shillingford, the sophomore out of UBC. But it looks like Alford's up under his own steam.
Well, you can see just going around, and he gets hit from behind. As he goes down, I think the knee drives in. Diedrich Mastis with the tackle, but the knee drives into the turf. And a lot of times your knee will go numb.
And so it's another third down situation. 2 yards to go this time for Toronto. In the gambling mood again with nothing to lose, down by 21.
And you can see, Mark, that's the good news. The trainers are coming over to Ted Alford. He's going, I'm okay. He's waving him off. I'm all right. I'll be back.
But he's got to come off the field for 3 plays. Third down gamble. Jenkins hurdling. Hit hard. It'll be very close. I'm not sure if he got there, Chris.
Well, this is, you know what? It all comes down to where the official marks it. Now, one is signaling first down already. They're not even going to measure this. It's always dangerous when the running back leaves his feet and goes in the air because the referee has a hard time of judging where he is. Now, he's going to try and jump for this first down. He goes up. Good contact right there by Schelling and Lamar. Now, 24's got to get in there. He has to make the decision where it was according to the first down marker. He gave it to him, and the drive continues.
Good spot. Argos first down. It's Jenkins again, right through the middle of the defense. Pulled down from behind by Larry Fitzpatrick at that defensive tackle position, but Michael Jenkins shouldering the yeoman's share of the work here on the offense with injuries to Daryl Mitchell, and of course seeing Ted Alford out for 3 plays after being shaken up on the tackle. It is 2nd and 4. The gain was 6 by Jenkins. They go back to Michael Jenkins, and he'll have another first down. Mike Philbrick making the tackle for the Tiger Cats. Michael Jenkins has already received interest from 4 NFL teams. The Argos are trying to sign him to a new 2-year contract, Chris, and he's going to at least double his salary.
Well, absolutely he will, and he's worth every penny they pay him. I mean, here's a guy that, you know, he's in his 2nd year. He's having a great year. I mean, but I think the biggest thing is, you know what, be down here, play down here, be the star down here. But I guess it's in everybody's, you know, in the back of their mind, the dream of playing the NFL for the big bucks.
Here's Kemp with pressure, stepping up, breaks the tackle. Now lots of daylight for the Argo QB. Another move, and he's finally down to cross the Hamilton 20 as Jimmy Kemp brings this Argo offense to life.
And the reason this is successful for Jimmy Kemp on a 27-yard scamper is the Ticats secondary is in man-to-man coverage. So as a result, the receivers are running down the field. The defensive backs are turned covering them. Nobody sees it. There's no linebackers there. Jimmy Kemp does a nice job of sidestepping the tackle attempt by Mike Philbrick and taking off down the football field, but not before he takes up a big one, and we see they're now working on number 77, Mike Philbrick.
Chris, the report from the Argo sick bay is that Daryl Mitchell is all right, but they'll bring him back if they need him. I think they need him.
Well, I don't understand that. You're down, you're playing for your playoff life. So what does that mean if we need them? I've heard 2 comments today that I don't understand. That one and the other one about the kickers, you know, trying to save themselves or pace themselves in a football game. What the heck is that about?
Getting yourself all worked up.
Those are 2 oxymorons.
How about Jimmy Kemp out rushing his passing yards so far? Using his legs. Mookie Mitchell on the Argo bench. There he is again, convalescing in the dugout with the parka. But Chris, he's had his 2 best games this season against the Tiger Cats. 109 yards receiving and a touchdown in July. 152 yards in September on Labor Day.
And I think that's even better. There's another stat we talked about earlier, and the fact is, when he is in this offense, the last 2 games prior to the injury, the quarterbacks of the Argonauts threw for over 500 yards and 8 touchdowns passing. When he was out the last 2 games he missed, only 2 touchdowns passing. So, I mean, those are incredible, important stats. But I tell you what, there's no way. You know, he wanted to play. He said, I'm going to play in this game. I understand all week about the importance of this football game. And you're going to tell me now that someone's saying he's okay, we're only going to put him in if we need him.
Mike Philbrick up under his own steam. Looked like he's favoring the arm. He has been playing with a bicep injury as Tom Hips, the 5th-year man out of U of T, comes in to stop for the veteran, Mike Philbrick. And he is a warrior, Chris. He'll go as long as time on the ground. And a short gain on first down for the Argos. It'll be second and about 8 or 9.
And they go right after the replacement. Mike Philbrick's out. They go right after Tom Hips. Let's test out the new guy. He had a stint in Toronto, or Montreal, excuse me. But, you know, he's a big boy. And he wants to play, so it's a chance for a guy who doesn't get a lot of playing time to come in and make a name for himself.
Second down, 8 yards to go. Argos in the red zone with a chance to score. This might be a momentum shift here if they can put it in the end zone. Again, Kemp ducks the rush, and he'll run. Hit hard by Jason Lamar, and Lamar twists him after he makes the tackle, but Kemp will be short of the first down. The Argos with a decision here. Do they gamble again? Do they go for 3? We'll know when we come back to Ivor Wynn. The two catalysts on the ground for the Argo offense. They have 7 first downs in this half of football, Chris, to 1 for the Tiger Cats.
Well, you definitely see a momentum change, and that is brought about by what? By the defense. Well, let's take a look at their offense right here. I mean, what a nice job of Jimmy Kemp, you know, ducking under Mr. Everything today, Sean Woodson, for the Tiger defense. But look at the treatment he receives here, Mark.
Gets bulldog here by Lamar, and he held his neck when he got up after that one, but there was no flag.
Well, the pressure didn't allow him to see this, a wide open Ted Alford who wanted the football, and that's what pressure will do. Will force the quarterback to put that, pull that football down and change what he normally would otherwise see. And that's the situation. Yeah, Sean Woodson didn't get the sack, but Sean Woodson made him put the ball and take off on his own.
Third down, 3 to go. Argos at the Hamilton 12, and they will gamble. Shotgun, Kemp rolling. Lots of time. He'll throw to the end zone. Incomplete. Intended for Ted Alford, and Brandon Hamilton gets the knockdown. The Argos will turn it over on downs. And it looked like Kemp had a seam to maybe run there, Chris.
Well, he had a seam, but what he actually did was he got his running back, Michael Jenkins. As we're going to watch Ted Alford, just going to play a little bit, go on the inside, take it to the corner, take it back into the middle, working against Brandon Hamilton. Hamilton, a little tug on the back of the jersey, but enough presence of mind still to react when that football's in the air and knock it down safely, incomplete.
Oh, what a nice diving knockdown by the veteran cornerback. The Argos now good on 2 of 5 third down gambles today. Missing that one. Cody Ledbetter in for Danny McManus at quarterback for the Tiger Cats. Ledbetter on his own 5 across the middle. It's complete for a short gain on the play. Corey Grant, the receiver, on the first offering from Ledbetter, and those are his numbers this season, Chris. He really hasn't had much playing time at all.
No, and I tell you what, the graduate of New Mexico State, you read his bio, one of the things I find very interesting, Mark, majored in hospitality. I mean, I should have had about 20 degrees in by that. What is this major? I didn't know that was a degree.
Are you saying that's a bird course?
Hospitality.
Of course, he's been operating a restaurant bar in the Hamilton area, offering you hospitality on numerous occasions. Across the middle, it's tipped as Ledbetter goes on the crossing route again. It's incomplete in a punt situation for Paul Osbaldiston, who will be standing, if not in his end zone, very close to it.
Well, look at this, and again, talk about time of possession being misleading. 24 minutes to 20 for Hamilton. Obviously swayed by that third quarter, where really the only offensive or only touchdown was Calvin Tagle on that fumble, high deflected pass by Danny McManus.
But that third down gamble drive that died on the 12-yard line of Hamilton, the killer for the Argos, would have really given them a chance to think comeback is possible. Right now they trail by 3 converted touchdowns. Here's Osbaldiston on his own 1. He's going to run back and concede a safety. Standing behind the goalpost for protection. Ozzie finally takes a knee.
I've seen a lot of things in my 16 years of football, Mark, both as a player and working with you. That's unbelievable.
Up the 2-point safety, and it's Adrian Smith, the return man for the Argos, up the middle. He's got a seam, good blocks, And a good return as the Ticats made a good decision to give up the safety, kick off for field position reasons, and the Argos take the field position right back, and there's an injured official on the field right now. Looks like Jacques Decarie, yes, has been shaken up, and he's lost his cap.
Well, you know, he also knows that it's almost time to start picking those Warriors. And, you know, we'll have a big special on that. He's just trying to get in the highlight film.
Major foul, face mask, Hamilton, number 25, first down.
Dwayne Butler called on a face mask as Jacques Decarie is up and apparently okay, and that will move the ball across center field to the Hamilton 54. So the Argos have tremendous field position here with 13:05 to go in regulation time.
I can see him coming across. Nice job of returning it right there. You can see it. Grabs the hand. Surprised they've moved it up as far. Usually they call that unintentional, and it's only a 5-yarder.
That adds on the 32-yard return of Adrian Smith, and Kemp with poor pass completion numbers, but good rushing numbers here this afternoon. Has got something mustard here on offense for the Toronto Argonauts. But they've got to score on each drive to get back. Handoff, Michael Jenkins, room up the middle, and a good 7 or 8 yards on that first down carry.
Well, this is a different Argonaut offense we're seeing right now. I mean, they're really executing. They're coming off the ball. Jenkins is really giving life to them. They're picking up nice first down yardage. Just, you know, little high handoff, let them find a hole. But again, 7 yards on first down.
Second down and 3. Kemp in the shotgun, will pass. Lots of time, gets it away. It's incomplete. Grayson Shillingford diving, had it momentarily, then dropped the ball. And so the Argos are in another third down situation, and the kick team is not coming on the field. They'll gamble again.
Well, I think it's a situation, as you say, with 12:09 left in the football game and with your life hanging in the balance. I mean, you just got to keep going for it and make it 3 times. The ball just a little past the outstretched hands, but he gets his hands on the football. And, you know, when you look on film tomorrow, win or lose, Grayson Shillingford is going to wish he had that ball.
Argos have been good on 2 of 5 third down gambles. Here they go for the 6th time this afternoon. Movement on the line of scrimmage. Kemp may have pulled the Ticats off. He gets a completion to Ted Alford, who's pushed out of bounds after the first down. The Cats are saying it's going back. We'll have to see what the call is here, Chris.
Well, I think it's going to go against Hamilton. I really believe it. I know that the Ticats, every time the flag is thrown, the defense is always going to say it's the offense, but I think on this occasion, I think it's Joe Montford who does the jumping.
Offside, Hamilton, number 53.
You nailed it.
First down.
So Lancaster shakes his head as the Argos move the yardstick.
Right at the top of your screen right now. Anticipating the count.
Got him. First down at the 33 of the Tiger Cats. Kemp with time, airs it out. It's caught by Shillingford, who had to come back for the ball. It was behind him.
And a nice decision by Kemp to get the ball to Shillingford. Again, I'm not real happy with the accuracy of the throw, because I think when you're in a situation when you have a receiver with speed, Shillingford does have speed, you get him on the fly, he can turn that into a bigger play. As it is, he has to turn around, stop to catch the football, and allow the tackler to limit it to a 4-yard gain.
Shillingford in the game for Daryl Mitchell, who clearly is not fit enough to play football right now, or he'd be back in the lineup. Second down, 6, Argos. Handoff, Jenkins has a seam, and the first down still rumbling to the 20-yard line of the Tiger Cats as Dwayne Butler goes down afterwards heavily. But the Argos threatening again, Chris.
Nice deep handoff. He gets in there right now. And one of the things the shotgun does is it forces the ends to come up the field. On that play, Gonzalo Floyd, the short side end, has to come up and creates his own natural seam. Jenkins exploits it and picks up the first down.
Argos desperate for a playoff spot in the West, trying to come back here tonight. Deep to the end zone for Kerwan. It's intercepted. Rob Hitchcock has the ball for the Tiger Cats. His 6th interception of the season. Moves them into a 3-way tie for the lead with Duran Bolden.
the bend but don't break principle of the Ticat defense. Just when life was being breathed into the Argonaut offense, Jimmy Kemp goes deep for Nigel Williams. The ball falls, it goes in there. There's 3 defenders to 2 offensive receivers for the Argonauts, and number 42, Rob Hitchcock, comes down with his 6th interception of the season.
Nigel Williams and Andre Kerwan within 2 or 3 strides of each other, drawing the attention of 3 Ticat DBs, and it's Rob Hitchcock celebrating his 6th interception. Flags are down, movement along the line of scrimmage, and it looks like it's Tyrone Rogers.
And you know, that's one of those situations, Mark, you say, you know, things are starting to pick up for the Argonaut offense. The last 2 series, we've had a failed third down attempt.
Hamilton, number 66, repeat first down.
And then, of course, now you've got the interception by Hitchcock, snuffing 2 potential points that may have been amassed by this Argonaut offense.
The Argos were moving, but they'll call Mike Mihalik for procedure along the offensive line. 5 yards back, repeat the down. It's 1st and 15. 8 turnovers by the Argonauts this afternoon. Cody Ledbetter throws it hard, complete to Andrew Grigg. He makes one move on Wayne Shaw, who gets up off the turf to make the tackle.
Well, even in a losing cause, I'm very impressed with the play of number 9, Wayne Shaw, the quarterback of the Toronto Argonauts. He just does a nice job of not only falling, but getting up. This is a far throw. It's a deep throw to the sideline to Andrew Grigg. He's trying to cut back inside. Now, what you don't see before that Wayne Shaw slips is Wayne Shaw took away the inside of the field away from Andrew Grigg, forcing him to come back, and then had enough presence of mind to get up and make the play.
Back to the original line of scrimmage. It's 2nd and 10. Here's the blitz. Chuck Levy has Cody Ledbetter. And a big sack with assistance from the far side, Kelvin Kinney.
Well, again, the defense is doing its part. You just got to wonder. I mean, the thing that's going to come back to haunt this Argonaut team is the first half. Totally inept offense first half. They get some life second half. They haven't been able to score last 2 times. Should have got some points, even if it's a field goal. 6 more points at least in the last 2 drives. Now they're going to get the ball back again in good field position.
Chris, the Argo offense was in the Hamilton red zone twice and came away with a safety touch. Will Osbaldiston do it again? Will he hide behind the goalpost for a safety? Standing at the goal line. Letting the clock run down. No, he'll punt this time. A beauty. Driving back Adrian Smith to his own 47. Smith hit hard after crossing center field. But again, the Argos winning the battle of field position. They'll go on offense as Daryl Mitchell sits tight in the dugout. Welcome back to Ivor Wynn in Hamilton, and at this time, on behalf of Chris, Peter, and our entire CFL on CBC crew, I'd like to offer our sympathies to Tiger Cat scout Bernie Custis. Bernie lost his wife Lorraine yesterday after heart bypass surgery in Mississauga. She was 74 years old. Bernie is a deeply loved man in this community, former player, a coach at MAC. And it's a tough time for him and his family. Bernie, our thoughts to you and your family today. Flags are down again. Here comes Glenn Johnson with the call.
Procedure, Toronto, number 66. Repeat first down.
So Jude St. John called for illegal procedure.
Big man right there. Left guard getting out of his snap a little early.
They'll move it back 5 yards. 1st and 15 Argos on their side of center field at the 53. Time running out. 7:57 to play in regulation. Down by 19. Here's the rush. Kemp tries to get away. Still going. Finally tackled for the sack. Jason Lamar with his 5th sack of the season.
Well, Larry Fitzpatrick, number 98, says, what do I got to do to get a sack in this game? He's been around the quarterback all day. Great penetration by number 98. He's going to get in the field. Does a nice job of shake and bake. He's got a clear rush. He should have. He escapes that. Tom Hibbs, 75. I got him. No. He misses him as well. And as you say, Jason Lamar, the middle linebacker, wraps him up.
So it's 2nd and 21. Third sack of the day against the Argos. Tiger Cats pushing Toronto back as they head into the wind in the 4th quarter. Here comes the blitz from the outside again. Kemp gets away, looking for the first down, and pulled out of bounds by Clifford Ivory. I think Schelling was the man coming off the edge.
Well, they brought the blitz, as you say, and again, what eyesight, what field of vision by 15 Jimmy Kemp to see the blitz. Sits back, the blitz is going to come. He steps away from it. That's Sean Woodson from the other side, and a nice move to get away, to beat the contained man who is supposed to not let him get to the outside. He fails in his job, and as a result, puts him in a 3rd and short situation, but again, they'll go for it.
And it's Gamble on the ground. Jenkins rushing hard. He'll have the first down. It's Jenkins and Kemp running the offense, literally. Kemp 66 yards rushing on 6 carries. That's an 11-yard average.
Well, he's just doing what he has to do. He says, you know what, if I can't do it to the, through the air, I'll do what I have to do on the ground. But it's his effort. He's making moves. He's fighting.
There's an injured Tiger Cat on the play. It's Tom Hibbs, slow to get up. He's all right, it looks like, limping. But he'll have to leave for 3 plays.
And a nice job there of that offensive line getting off and getting those 3 yards. You see 21 yards, or 21 rushes, excuse me, for 100 yards again. His 8th 100-yard rushing game of the year.
You know, Chris, he missed 2 games this season. Can you imagine what his numbers would be? He's already broken Gil Fennerty's single-season Argo rushing record. He is the CFL leader in his sophomore season. Here's Kemp going deep downfield. Oh, Ted Alford makes a circus catch at the 15.
Absolutely wonderful execution, and it's about time by the Argo offense, just running a little corner route, and a nice job of Ted Alford coming into the middle, reaching up and snaring that pass, despite good coverage by Diedrich Mathis.
Mathis tried to pick his pocket there, but it is a 24-yard gain on the pass to Alford. Argos in the red zone again for the 3rd time. Kemp airs it out to Darren Joseph. Joseph has his legs cut out from under him by Jason Lamar after he crosses the 15-yard line.
And again, Mark, we're in a situation where the Argo offense is now in the red zone. They can't be satisfied with, coming away with nothing. They have to come away with points with 4:56 and ticking left in this ball game.
The gain is only 2, 2nd and 8. Kemp trying to get into the end zone. He has but a safety touch to show for 3 big drives. Into the corner, looking for Jenkins. He's got it. Touchdown, Argonauts. Michael Jenkins with his 5th receiving touchdown, a 13-yarder, and his 13th of the season.
Well, nice job of getting one-on-one coverage. He gets out of the backfield. He's get covered by Chris Schelling. He tries to take him deep. He takes him to the outside, runs a little corner route, and a ball beautifully thrown by Jimmy Kemp. A nice job of concentration to haul it in by Michael Jenkins.
Argos going for 2 on this convert. Kemp back to the corner again, this time for Alford. He's got it. A 2-point convert, and suddenly the Ticat lead is down to 11. Jimmy Kemp airing the corner route to the sophomore back for pay dirt. Michael Jenkins and the Argos are coming back. They have outscored the Tiger Cats 18-0 in the second half. Unfortunately, they gave up 24 points in the second quarter off turnovers.
Well, that's right. The big play there was Jason Lamar. They brought a blitz. They got burned a little bit. They got it picked up. The middle linebacker came. As a result, they got one-on-one coverage with Chris Schelling on Jenkins and a beautifully thrown ball, and then, of course, a two-point convert to Alford.
The hands team is in for the Tiger Cats as the Argos were showing an onside kick. Prefontaine will hit it hard. Off the turf, bouncing across the 20 to the 15. Davis has it and will just step out of bounds after a short return. The kick traveled 60 yards, a 15-yard return from Davis as we take one more look at Ted Alford's sticky hands. Wait a minute. There's some bad blood on the sidelines. It's Mike O'Shea and Rob Hitchcock, the former Tiger Cat O'Shea. And some rants go up from the crowd here at Ivor Wynn. He was booed when they introduced him at the start of this game. And they finally clear the scrum. Danny McManus is back at quarterback for the Cats. I wonder why. The Argos have 12 first downs in the second half. Hamilton has 1.
Well, absolutely. As we see Ted Alford, the recipient of the two-point convert. Let's take a look how that transpired. Jimmy Kemp on a two-pointer, just sitting back. Again, going to the same corner route. This time, again successfully. This time, though, the receiver being Ted Alford, of course. The play starts and a little scrum going.
Troy Davis with Bayline up the middle, a huge hole. It took the safety, Orlando Steinauer, to trip him up after a 15-yard pickup.
Well, now this is where you test your mettle. You know, you've kind of sat around, you kind of were just complacent for a quarter and a half now. They put Danny McManus back in the game. Now you got to bring it up. You can never turn the switch off. You got to keep it at the high level all the time.
And speaking of time, the clock keeps ticking. 3:27 to go as Rich Stubler, the defensive consultant coordinator, looks on, hoping his big D can get the ball back. McManus hits past to Drake. Drake steps off the tackle of Simmons and gets very close to the first down. Marcelo Simmons had him for a gain of 5, but he broke the tackle.
Well, again, it's just a quick hitch pass. You're throwing from the short hash mark. It's not long of a throw. Ball is in his hands. Danny Mac puts it in Rick's hands right away, and he tips toes down the sideline, picking up a first down.
First down of this half for the Tiger Cats as McManus comes back in to try to restore order to this football game as far as Hamilton is concerned. McManus to throw. It's complete to R.C. Emerson as he dives to the 45. About a yard shy of another first down. McManus clicking here late in the fourth quarter with 2:51 to go. It's the 3-minute warning at Ivor Wynn.
I don't know where it's at.
As the Blue Bombers prevailed 28-27 over the Tiger Cats in a game that was played over 2 days because of the fog. McManus passing at 50%. 2nd and 1 will sneak, and it looks like he'll have enough to maintain possession of the football with 2:33 to go.
Well, absolutely. This is where it's really critical. I know it's easy to say up here with 2:33 left in the game, but every first down or set of downs is time off the clock that the Argonaut offense will not be able to utilize.
Exactly. The Cats will try to keep the ball inbounds, keep the clock running. As it is now, 2:25 and ticking. The Argo hopes straining away here. They were hoping to win this and count on at least one BC loss in its last 2 games to cross over for the 3rd and final playoff spot. Troy Davis keeps his footing, then drops the ball. He had first down territory. There's a whistle now. The Argos say they have it. No, they'll point at Hamilton ball. A very late whistle, Chris. And there's a scrum for the ball.
There was a scrum, but I believe that Andrew Grigg got the football. I really believe that it bounced out. It was another opportunity or missed opportunity by the Argonaut defense to get the fumble recovery. But I really do believe that Andrew Grigg, the man at the bottom of the pile.
You gotta wonder whether the ball made contact with the ground. There's Davis keeping his footing as Neal tries to strip it from behind. And you're right, I think Andrew Grigg got there ahead of Shaw and Chris Neal. Eagle eye you are.
Absolutely.
Another look at it from the ground level. Good strip. And then the pileup. And a first down for the Tiger Cats at the 24 of the Argos. Handoff, Troy Davis. This time he's hog-tied. The ball is down again. The Argos say they have it, but there's a flag down. Rio Wells has the ball for the Argonauts.
Oh, and as you say, Mark.
But what about the flag?
Well, I tell you what, the linemen of the Argonauts are already running off the football field. And
offside, Toronto, number 99.
Alfred Payton with the offside call that kills a fumble recovery. And might that be the one that puts the bullet in the body?
It might be the proverbial nail in the coffin. As Pinball Clements shrugs it off, Payton asks for a second opinion. But it is Tiger Cat football.
Well, it's at the bottom of your screen. I really don't see the offside. So obviously he lined up offside. And, you know, that's the worst scenario that can possibly be. One thing to jump, but a second to mentally line up offside.
Handoff, Troy Davis. Right through the defense. And a tremendous gain across the 10-yard line. It looked like Alfred Payton was along for the ride.
Well, what's happening right here, and I can tell you why he's getting such good yardage. It's because the first guy is going to try and make the tackle for the Argonaut defense. Everybody else is instructed to go for the football. All they're going to try and do is rip the football. You see Chris Neal get the football away from Troy Davis.
How about the call by Ron Lancaster to bring back his starter, Danny McManus, with more than 3 minutes to play. He has chewed up the clock, and he's moved the ball inside the 10. McManus, play action, throwing to the end zone, wide open! Corey Grant overthrown! There was nobody within 15 yards of Grant in the end zone. There's a flag, and there's a fight in the end zone.
Well, the frustrations are really coming out right now between these two teams as we see Orlando Steinhauer going against his ex-roommate, Archie Amerson.
He said to us yesterday that Archie called him up and asked him if he was ready to play. They exchanged pleasantries on the phone, but not there.
Well, there's obviously some anger there. You see they're hitting each other. They're good friends, but you can see right there, he runs right over him. And of course, you know what? When you're in this and the adrenaline's going, you don't even see the person you're playing against. It could be your next door neighbor. It's just the fact that right now, tensions and everything is.
Major foul, face mask, Toronto, number 21, first down.
Wow, and they're calling Steinhauer on a face mask after it looked like he was run right over, you're right, by Archie Amerson. And so it's all going bad now for the Argos. 1:09 to play in regulation time. It is first and goal, Hamilton from the 5. McManus handing off to Davis, up the gut, fumbles the ball, picked up by Rio Wells in the end zone. Wells will escape the end zone and is pulled down as he crosses the 5-yard line. Can you believe it?
Well, I'm going to tell you what, it looked like that the Hamilton offensive line is responsible for this fumble, much like last week when Dave Hack picked up Davis and tried to carry him forward for additional yardage. Watch when Davis gets this. Now, as he's going across, there's Mike Mihalik. Now, Mike Mihalik is actually trying to pull him into the end zone, pulls his hands off the football as he crosses the line. Rio Wells picks up the fumble and gets out of the end zone, giving a small breath of life.
Well, with 56 seconds to play, and the ball on the Argos 7, it's a stretch here for the Argos, who now will desperately hope the BC Lions to lose both of their remaining football games. Tonight at home against Saskatchewan, Tuesday night at home against these Tiger Cats in the makeup game.
Well, and this is the situation. You know that Hamilton really wanted to beat Toronto. What will happen on Tuesday against BC?
And in the end zone, it's complete to Nigel Williams, who comes back to the ball and is rocked by Chris Schelling.
Well, I tell you what, aside for the one play, the one touchdown pass to Michael Jenkins, what an outstanding effort put forth again by this Hamilton Ticat defense. I mean, you cannot be anything but impressed with the ferocity, the tenaciousness, the way they come after and the hit.
On the ground again, it's Jenkins scrambling for the first down on the second and less than a yard situation, but it's not much with 39 seconds to go in regulation time, and the Argos need a 2-point converted touchdown and a field goal just to tie.
Well, I think it's one of those situations where basically now you can't run the football anymore. You've got to go deep.
Ticats in a prevent defense. They'll let Jimmy Kemp run. He does a spinorama on Schelling and is brought down at the 25-yard line with 23 seconds to play. The Argos with huge hopes coming into this weekend, dashed slightly by Calgary, winning over Winnipeg in the upset last night, 22-15. And then today, losing here. They now must hope the BC loses twice, and the Lions look like they're hot. Kemp throwing, flags flying, and it's dropped right in the hands of Darren Joseph, but flags are down.
Well, they'll also know today, because obviously later on this evening, or maybe even starting, the BC, well, they played tonight actually, and they play against Saskatchewan. That's out on the coast. That's a home game,
Hamilton,
so that is a later start.
Repeat second down.
Second down repeated as Big Joe Montford is flagged. Second down and 1. But it is academic. 9 seconds to play. The Tiger Cats all the way back to center field on defense. It's complete to Ted Alford. He'll step out of bounds to stop the clock with 4 seconds to go. The Tiger Cats, with a 31-20 lead, have accomplished their mission today to beat the Argos with their first stringers and crush Toronto's hopes now as they wait and watch in BC.
Well, absolutely. That's the biggest thing that I'm really impressed with. When we talked about Toronto, we thought their intensity would be much higher, but it was the Ticats who had nothing to gain from this game who showed us that intensity level.
And the game ends fittingly with a sack by the Tiger Cats. Gonzalo Floyd hauls down Jimmy Kemp. The fireworks go off. The Tiger Cats defeat the Toronto Argonauts 31-20 to sweep the season series at 3 and put the Argos in a desperate hole. Let's go down to the sidelines, and here's Peter.
With Sean Woodson, you had a fantastic game today. You had 3 interceptions, 1 fumble recovery, winning for a touchdown. Your team is just gelling at just the right time of the season.
Well, I'm just excited about it. First of all, I just want to give glory and honor to God for giving me the ability to be out here and play today. And it's just great, man, when we can gel at this time of the season, offensively and defensively. Special teams all gave a great effort today, and just glad to be a part of it.
What's the consensus? What's going to happen now to BC? Do you rest guys? Do you play just as hard as you were playing here today?
Well, that's something that the coaches and the front office will have to make a decision on. Either way it goes, we're going to go out and play the best we can and get ready for the playoffs.
Well, you had a fantastic game today. Congratulations. Best of luck in BC.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, let's go back up the mark now.
Yes, the Ticats could actually help the Argos if they can beat BC on Tuesday night. But on this one, it was Sean Woodson's day, a red letter day in Hamilton.